The Priestess's time travel. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 201 Prey 19. This is a long journey. There is no other way. The Milky Way is too remote. It took 5 years for Su Qingni and his party to reach the edge of the Interstellar Alliance. During these 5 years, everyone did not waste time. They practiced internal skills, learned some high-tech techniques, learned interstellar common language, understood the information of the Interstellar Alliance, and understood the information of various civilizations in it. Everyone lived a fulfilling life in these 5 years without wasting time. Nowadays, not to mention the degree of control over technology, just the strength of individual soldiers has surpassed most people in the Interstellar Alliance. As soon as the spacecraft entered the border, well-equipped ships surrounded the spacecraft. "Don't fire." Su Qingni quickly asked Sloka to communicate with the other party and asked Sanil to express his intention to surrender. "Who are you?" The other commander saw that the person communicating with them was not the Sloya star from the bug alien star, but a humanoid creature that looked like them, so he ordered his men not to launch an attack for the time being. "We are from the Milky Way." Su Qingni called all his men behind him and introduced them. "We are from different planets in the Milky Way. Some of us are from Blue Star, some are from Takar Star, these are from Pumaga Star, and they are from Xianbi Star." The other party listened carefully and wrote down the characteristics of the people on each planet. After Su Qingni finished the introduction, the other party introduced himself. "My name is Andy Fair, and I am the commander of the 3rd Battalion of the 7th Army of the Alliance Army." "Hello, Captain Fair, it's nice to meet you," Su Qingni said hurriedly. Andy Fair nodded, accepted Su Qingni's gesture, and then asked his question. "The spaceship you are riding is exactly the same as that of the Sloan people. What is your relationship with the Sloan people?" Su Qingni hurriedly replied, "If we talk about relationship, we are enemies with the Sloan people. However, there are no Sloan people now, and we have eliminated them all." Su Qingni continued, "Your Excellency should be clear about the hobbies of the Sloan people. When they escaped from the pursuit of the Alliance through the wormhole, they did not change this hobby after coming to our Milky Way galaxy where we made fire. We Blue Star people have a saying about them, a dog will always eat shit. Well, maybe you don't know what a dog is." "I know," Andy Fail said. "There is a planet in the Alliance called Gaia, and there is a pet called a dog." "Gaia? Gaia? Isn't that another name for the Earth?" "Gaia is the god of the Earth in Greek mythology, so many people call Earth Gaia. The Earth in this world is called Blue Star, so could Gaia be another Earth?" Su Qingni smiled and said, "I am very interested in Gaia and hope to have a chance to visit there. If you have no ill intentions, there will be a chance." Andy Fail said, "Of course, we are seeking the Interstellar Alliance with the greatest goodwill and longing," Su Qingni said. Andy Fail was satisfied with Su Qingni's answer and said, "Go on." Su Qingni immediately brought the topic back and told about what the Sloans did when they arrived in the Milky Way. "Although the civilization of our Milky Way is not developed, we will not surrender. We resisted and defeated and eliminated them with the weapons made by the Sloans themselves. We worked hard to learn the knowledge left by the Sloans, found the wormhole they came from, and came to the Interstellar Alliance to report. We know from the information left by the Sloans that as long as the civilization is registered in the Interstellar Alliance, it will be protected and cared for by the Interstellar Alliance. Is that right?" "Of course," Andy Fair said affirmatively. "Although I don't know much about your Milky Way, if you can take the initiative to come, the Alliance will welcome you to join. In the future, the Milky Way will enjoy the same rights as other galaxies in the Alliance." "That's great." Su Qingni made an extremely happy expression. In fact, everything now has been anticipated by her. Of course, she also anticipated several reactions from the Interstellar Alliance and made different responses to these reactions. Even the worst situation was anticipated, and such a response might cost a great sacrifice. Fortunately, now is the best situation. Andy Fair transferred Su Qingni and others to the ship they had designated. The Sloan spacecraft was not allowed to enter the territory of the Alliance. However, since the spaceship was the spoils of war of Su Qingni and others, the Alliance Army would not confiscate the spaceship and would only allow it to dock at the port on the border. When Su Qingni and others were about to return to the Milky Way, they could drive the spaceship away. Su Qingni and others cooperated with the Alliance Army's instructions very well. They did not want to cause the Alliance Army to misunderstand them and accidentally lose their lives by an inadvertent action. Andy Fell arranged for them to live on a planet next to the border and then reported their situation. Su Qingni and everyone stayed on this planet with peace of mind and waited for news. Everyone understood that waiting should be a long process. Therefore, everyone was not anxious. They used the light computers arranged by the Alliance Army to go online and absorb the knowledge of the Alliance crazily. With the knowledge of the Slow people as a foundation, it would not be too difficult for people in the Milky Way to learn the knowledge of the Alliance. If they did not know the knowledge, they would not understand it even if it was placed in front of them. Men learned more about mechas. There were too many types of mechas in the Alliance, and the appearance was too cool and the power was even greater, which made men love them. Su Qingni and the dwarves learned more comprehensively. Su Qingni installed an optical computer for her son Guagua, so that he could study on the optical network. The child is already over 10 years old, with a solid foundation, and his knowledge exceeds that of many people. It is easier for him to learn the knowledge of his alliance than most people. Su Qingni thought they would wait for a few months, half a year, or a year, but unexpectedly, in less than a month, the top leaders of the alliance responded. Andy Fair took Su Qingni and her most capable subordinates to the headquarters of the Alliance and participated in a question-and-answer session hosted by the top leaders of the Alliance. Su Qingni honestly admitted that the civilization of the Milky Way was not yet developed, but she also let the top leaders of the Alliance see their indomitable will and spirit of resistance in adversity from the Milky Way. Convey a message to the top leaders of the Alliance: don't think about enslaving people in the Milky Way. Anyone who wants to enslave them must be mentally prepared to become the second Slow people. At the beginning, they were able to kill all the Slow people, and they could also kill all those who wanted to enslave them, no matter how much time and blood they spent. After discussion, the Interstellar Alliances agreed that the Milky Way joined the Interstellar Alliance, and the Milky Way civilization would be protected by the Interstellar Alliance. Hearing this answer, Su Qingni and her friends all smiled. Chapter 202 Pray 20. Because the Milky Way is too remote, the Interstellar Alliance does not want to send troops to station there, and no one is willing to go. Therefore, the Alliance appointed Su Qingni as the Minister of the Interstellar Alliance's branch in the Milky Way and the commander of the 11th Legion of the Interstellar Alliance in the Milky Way, with the right to form an army in the Milky Way. Of course, the weapons and supplies of the army need to be prepared by the people of the Milky Way themselves. The Interstellar Alliance only provides some drawings and technologies for the manufacture of weapons and equipment. More, well, they provide Su Qingni with a starship that surpasses the Slayan spaceship, with 10 small ships on the starship. Everyone in Su Qingni's team will receive a standard mecha of the Alliance Army and a space button equipped with a mecha. After that, everyone in the team can carry their own mecha with them. After a tour of various planets in the Interstellar Alliance, especially staying on Gaia for a long time, Gaia is indeed very similar to Blue Star, but the technology is much higher than Blue Star. Su Qingni returned with her companions. When returning, they took the starship provided by the Alliance, and the Slayan spaceship was towed behind the starship's tail. The speed of a starship is twice as fast as that of a spaceship. After all, the Slayans stopped researching technology after arriving in the Milky Way, while the Alliance's technology is changing with each passing day. In the past few decades, the starships and spaceships have been replaced by several generations. The starship owned by Su Qingni is not the best starship in the Alliance, but an ordinary starship, but its speed and power are 2 or 3 times stronger than that of the Slayan spaceship. It only took 2 years to go back. After returning to the Milky Way, Su Qingni gave his men a holiday so that they could go back to their home planets to show off. No, they were asked to inform the high-level officials of their respective planets that the Milky Way has joined the Interstellar Alliance, and let the high-level officials help their companions recruit soldiers on their respective planets. As compensation, they will provide the high-tech technology of the Planetary Origin Alliance, so that the high-level officials of the planet will join the Milky Way branch of the Interstellar Alliance and have certain positions. The companions left in a small starship. Sloka and Saniel drove the Slayan spaceship back to their hometown. On the way back, they used the knowledge they learned in the Interstellar Alliance to modify the Slayan spacecraft, which increased the speed of the spacecraft by half and doubled the power of the weapons on board. Su Qingni took Guagua, Guan Yi, Goz Honghua, Mingaya, Rutherford, Ellens, Firenaya, Kunbu, and others on the starship to Blue Star. Blue Star's technology has developed rapidly in recent years. Because it knows the existence of aliens and the existence of the Interstellar Alliance, Blue Star has vigorously developed technology, especially aerospace technology. Nowadays, Blue Star has also built a manned spacecraft, but the farthest it can reach is Mars. There are many more space stations, and the monitoring technology of outer space has also improved a lot, but it can only monitor half of the solar system, so there is no need to think about rushing out of the solar system and rushing into the Milky Way. However, these means are enough. When Su Qingni's starship entered the solar system, the existence of this huge ship was discovered during monitoring. The people in the space station contacted the people on Blue Star while sending signals to the starship. After receiving the signal, Su Qingni immediately asked the main brain of the starship to connect to the communication equipment of the space station, and by the way, through the communication equipment of the space station, connected to the communication equipment and the network on the ground of Blue Star, so that people on the ground of Blue Star could see Su Qingni and her companions. At this time, whether ordinary people on Blue Star were watching TV, playing computers or browsing their mobile phones, the screens in front of them had changed. A woman in military uniform appeared on the screen, and behind her was a row of men and women in military uniforms. These men and women were all good-looking, and with the contrast of military uniforms, they were all very handsome. However, the style of their military uniforms was very unfamiliar, and military fans could not recognize which country's military uniforms they were from. But it is undeniable that this style of military uniform is countless times better than the style of the military commanders of every country they know. Huh? Some middle-aged or even elderly Blue Star people saw one of the faces and made a surprised sound. This face looks so familiar, who is it? Some die-hard fans recognized Rutherford after thinking for a while. This is Rutherford. More than 10 years ago, he was a world-class kung fu superstar, the dream lover of many women, but he suddenly disappeared one day. No one saw him alive or dead. The police searched for him for a long time but couldn't find him. Many people thought he was dead and held a grand memorial service for him. It turned out that this person was not dead. Where had he been for more than 10 years? The fans were happy and confused, but other people didn't have such thoughts. They were just wondering who these people were. Some people even cursing this viral invasion method that affected their work fun. At this time, Su Qingni spoke. Hello fellow compatriots of Blue Star. Let me introduce myself. My name is Su Qingni. I am also at Blue Star. I am currently the director of the Galaxy Division of the Interstellar Alliance and the commander of the 11th Legion. From today, the 11th Legion will enter the Milky Way to protect the safety of the Milky Way. Everyone on Blue Star. Ordinary people thought this was a promotional method for some movie, and they all cursed the movie's promotional method for being too excessive. A few people found it interesting and became interested in the movie. I thought I would check the information of this movie online later and go to see it when it is released. Let alone other things, just look at these handsome men and beautiful women, the scene layout and the exquisite costumes. It is worth going to see it. Only the senior officials of the countries on Blue Star know that what is shown on the screen is not a movie trailer, and what the woman said is true. The Galaxy branch of the Interstellar Alliance? Is this woman the leader mentioned by those people? It seems that they have really found the Interstellar Alliance and become members of the Interstellar Alliance. They will also station troops in the Milky Way, so are they kind or malicious to Blue Star? The senior officials asked the technical talents to act quickly and want to get in touch with Su Qingni. Su Qingni received the communication request from Blue Star and answered it very quickly. So, the people on Blue Star saw that their current screen was divided into many parts, and the picture in the middle was still the woman and the group of people behind her. The faces that appeared in the surrounding pictures made everyone almost jump up in surprise. Those faces are very familiar, and they often appear in the news. Those are the leaders of the major countries on Blue Star. Oh my god, count the number of people in these pictures. Are all the senior officials of the United Nations appearing on the screen? What is going on? The publicity for this movie is so huge. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 203 Prey 21. Ms. Su, Are you going back to Blue Star to visit relatives this time? The senior officials of Rabbit Country asked. Su Qingni respected the senior officials of Rabbit Country very much and replied with a smile, "My companions behind me are going back to Blue Star to visit relatives. I have official business to deal with." The President of the United States hurriedly asked, "What is your so-called official business?" Su Qingni, "Invite Blue Star to join the Galaxy Division of the Interstellar Alliance and recruit soldiers on Blue Star." Recruit soldiers. Yes, recruit soldiers. Su Qingni did not hide it and told the truth to everyone on Blue Star. Although the Interstellar Alliance has granted our Milky Way the right to form an army, because the Milky Way is too remote, soldiers from other galaxies are unwilling to come to the Milky Way. Therefore, if the Milky Way wants to embrace combat power and protect itself, it can only recruit locals in the Milky Way. My other companions have gone to their home planets to recruit soldiers. I am from Blue Star, so naturally I will go back to Blue Star to recruit soldiers. The senior officials on Blue Star. They are thinking about the pros and cons of sending their own troops to join the Interstellar Alliance. No matter how you look at it, they are at a loss. The soldiers are sent out and will not obey their orders in the future. Su Qingni saw everyone's expression and threw out the benefits. This time when I return to Blue Star, I am also thinking of finding someone to cooperate with to open a mecha manufacturing factory, a flying car manufacturing factory, and a spaceship manufacturing factory. The Interstellar Alliance provides our Milky Way branch with a lot of technological information that surpasses Blue Star and standard mecha manufacturing information. The senior executives of Blue Star immediately expressed their opinions. Captain Su, you can choose any army from Rabbit Country. Captain Su, you can choose any army from the United States. Captain Su, you can choose any army from the United States. Captain Su, the ordinary people of Blue Star were stunned. Is all this true or false? Su Qingni called Rutherford to her side and said to the senior executives of Blue Star, "Do you think this person looks familiar?" The senior executives, "Who is this person? They don't chase stars, how could they recognize Rutherford?" The President of the United States, who had seen a movie starring Rutherford when he was young, hesitated and said, "Is this Mr. Daniel Rutherford?" Rutherford smiled and nodded, "I'm honored that Mr. President recognizes me." The President of the United States forced a smile and said, "I have seen a movie starring Mr. Rutherford." When Mr. Rutherford disappeared, it caused quite a stir. "I just didn't expect that Mr. Rutherford was abducted by aliens." Rutherford corrected him, "It was the Sloyans who abducted us. Let's not say the word alien. In addition to us, my companions have many people from other planets, and they are also aliens. This word classifies them with the Sloyans, and they will be unhappy." The president quickly admitted his mistake. Every senior official took note that the alien bugs were Sloyans, and they would never make the same mistake again in the future. Su Qingni said, "Mr. Rutherford will be responsible for communicating and negotiating with you and cooperating in various aspects. As for recruiting troops, Mr. Guan Yi will be responsible." After that, she called Guan Yi to the other side. Guan Yi stepped forward and saluted very standardly. The high-ranking officials of the Rabbit Country narrowed their eyes. "It seems that Mr. Guan Yi is from our people's army. Good, very good. Very good. The will of the universe is biased towards the Rabbit Country. First, the leader of these people is a Rabbit Country person, and now there is another person who is a soldier of the Rabbit Country. In the future, the Rabbit Country should be able to have a lot of say in the Galaxy Alliance." At this time, the ordinary people on the Blue Star were all confused. Looking at the conversation between Su Qingni and the high-ranking officials, the ordinary people gradually reacted. All this should not be a movie. How could the high-ranking officials of various countries go to the same movie at such a low price? So, all this is true? What Interstellar Alliance is true? The Galaxy Alliance is also true. The formation of the Galaxy Guard Corps is also true. Are the mechas and mechas true? The men were excited. If they are all true, in order to be able to drive mechas, they must also join the army to save their lives. The women looked at Su Qingni's heroic appearance and equal dialogue with the high-ranking officials of the Blue Star and envied and admired her. Some young girls, especially those in the second period of middle school, wanted to join the Galaxy team. Galaxy team. The name sounds so cool. Rutherford's fans finally understood why their idol disappeared. It turned out that he was abducted by aliens. being able to escape from the aliens and join the Interstellar Alliance to become a warrior of the Galaxy team. The experience is a wonderful movie. No wonder Rutherford played the hero so vividly before, because he is a hero. Because Su Qingni appeared with great fanfare, the people of Blue Star knew the existence of aliens and the Interstellar Alliance. The senior officials of Blue Star no longer concealed it and announced all the kidnapping incidents that had occurred on Blue Star in the past and the incidents of Su Qingni and others resisting the slow people. The identities of Su Qingni and Gau's Honghu and Guan Yu were also investigated by the people on Blue Star. They became the idols of all the people of Blue Star. When Gau's Honghu and others returned home to visit their relatives, they were surrounded by people asking for autographs, which almost caused a traffic jam. These people were scared and quickly returned to the starship. After all, more than 10 years have passed, and many of their elders are no longer alive, and their brothers and sisters or other relatives have their own small families, and their relationship with them has long been alienated. Even some relatives wanted to gain benefits from them. Their current achievements were all earned through their hard work, so how could they be willing to let these greedy people get away with it? So, everyone came back and didn't want to go back. Su Qingni said to Guagua, "If you want to see Su Qingni and Shen's hyping, go ahead." Guagua stared at Su Qingni with a complicated expression and asked, "Mom, do you know everything?" Su Qingni nodded, "I knew it a long time ago. Real babies are not as quiet and well-behaved as you. Occasionally, you will show emotions that only adults have in your eyes. Aliens have appeared, so it's not strange to have a son who traveled through time or was reborn." Su Qingni said, "I have observed you for 2 years before I was sure that you were not a time traveler but a reborn one. I can see that you have complicated feelings for Su Qingni and Shen's hyping." Guagua looked at Su Qingni in astonishment. He didn't expect that he would be seen through so early. He asked Su Qingni with mixed feelings, "You have seen through me, why are you still so good to me?" "Because you are my son." Su Qingni reached out and touched Guagua's head, saying, "No matter in the past life or this life, you are my son. If I don't treat you well, who should I treat well?" Chapter 204 Pray 22. You are my son. If I don't treat you well, who can I treat well? Mom, Guagua's voice choked. Su Qingni touched the child's head and let the child cry in her arms. He has hardly cried since the child was born. This time, Guagua cried very freely and cried out all the grievances in his previous life. Yes, Guagua was reborn. In the previous life, Su Qingni had not come, and the body of the original owner had been cremated early. Guagua didn't know that he was not Su Qingni's son, and his biological mother was killed by Su Qingni. Guagua was very filial to Su Qingni, and the two of them had been mother and son for more than 20 years. When Guagua grew up, Su Qingni wanted Guagua to marry a woman she liked, but Guagua had another girl he liked. The mother and son had a disagreement because of this, and Guagua capriciously chose the woman he liked. He thought he was Su Qingni's biological son, and that a mother loved her son and would bow to her son sooner or later. But he didn't know that he was not Su Qingni's son. Su Qingni was unhappy when she saw Guagua going against her will and resisting her. She felt that Guagua was out of her control. She was also afraid that Guagua would know the truth and find out that he was not her son. Su Qingni decided to take action first. Su Qingni tricked Guagua abroad and found a surrogate mother to get pregnant with Guagua's child. At this time, Guagua was useless to Su Qingni. She had a grandson. Su Qingni took action against Guagua. Just as she had killed her sister without any consideration for sisterly love, Su Qingni killed Guagua mercilessly. Guagua didn't know why his mother wanted to kill him until he died. He had resentment in his heart but more doubts. Until he was reborn and became a newborn baby and was taken away by Su Qingni, he was still confused. He didn't know who Su Qingni was and why she took him away. Su Qingni saw that Guagua was a time traveler or a reborn baby, so she pretended to be telling a casual story and told Su Qingni's calculations. Guagua only understood at this time why Su Qingni would kill him without mercy. Because he was not Su Qingni's son at all, and his biological mother was also killed by Su Qingni. It was a pity that he didn't know anything in his previous life, and he actually regarded his enemy as his biological mother. Not only could he not avenge his biological mother, but he was also stupid enough to kill himself. Mom, Guagua cried and told about his experience in his previous life, and said with grievance and relief, Fortunately you are still alive in this life. It turned out that his biological mother was so outstanding and so powerful. If she hadn't been unprepared for her own sister, she wouldn't have been killed so easily, right? Fortunately, my mother didn't die in this life, and she took me away from that vicious woman, took me through this legendary experience, and took me to see the vastness of the universe and the stars. Mom, it's great that you're alive. Su Qingni patted Guagua's back and gently comforted the child. After a long time, Guagua stopped crying and left Su Qingni's arms, with an embarrassed blush on his face. Su Qingni smiled. You are my child, why should you be embarrassed to cry in front of your mother? Guagua felt warm in his heart. This is a biological mother and son. Mom, I want to meet them, especially Dad, he is still very good to me. Guagua said, but don't worry, I just go to see him, I won't recognize him. If he recognized Dad, I'm afraid Mom would be unhappy, and she might not want him as a son. After all, Dad hurt Mom. Don't say that Dad didn't know Su Qingni's calculations, otherwise how could Mom get pregnant with him? He didn't think Mom would voluntarily be someone else's third party. And in the previous life, Su Qingni killed him. Did Dad really not know? Maybe, in Dad's heart, he is no match for that woman Su Qingni. Well, go ahead. Su Qingni nodded. She was very relieved about the child in front of her. This child has been with her, and has experienced a lot, and his character has become tough, and he will never be the same as in the previous life. Mom, wait for me to come back. Well, if you meet a girl you liked in your previous life, you can bring her back. Su Qingni said. She didn't mind what kind of person her daughter-in-law was. Anyway, her son had grown up and could leave her. If she didn't like that girl, she just didn't have much contact with her. Anyway, she had raised Guagua, and she had given an explanation to the original owner. If her son favored her daughter-in-law in the future, she would be cold to him. Anyway, she was an old monster who had lived for billions of years, and her emotions had long been indifferent. Except for a limited number of people, no one could get her emotions. All the joys, sorrows, anger and happiness were not expressed for the original owner's personality. Guagua paused and replied, it depends. He felt that he would not like his lover in his previous life in this life. The experience of this life made him feel that there was a huge gap between him and his lover in his previous life. He didn't think that the two could love each other as in their previous lives. They no longer had a common language. On the blue star, Su Qingni recognized Su Qingni, and was afraid and jealous. Why didn't Su Qingni die? Why did she become an existence that all the people on the blue star look up to? Is she better than herself in any way? She is still alive, she knows his calculations, and knows that you want to kill her. That's why she took the child away. Now she has the ability, and she came back for revenge. What should she do? She is no match for Su Qingni. Now Su Qingni can crush her to death with just one finger, right? She wants to escape. She wants to escape. Su Qingni packed a few clothes, took all the money in the house, and wanted to escape. But Shen Haiping blocked her. The two have been married for decades, and Shen Haiping can't imagine what she wants to do. How could he let her escape? She hurt him so badly, how could she leave him and run away? How much Shen Haiping loved Su Qingni before, how much he hates her now. Because of this woman, he lost the qualification to be a father, and his family's property was also ruined because of this woman. She wants to leave? No way. He would personally hand Su Qingni over to Su Qingni, and watch Su Qingni being avenged by the woman he had harmed. As for Su Qingni's revenge on him? Haha, he had let it go. He had done something wrong, and he deserved to be retaliated against. Let me go. Su Qingni broke free from Shen Haiping's grip. Over the years, the two had tortured each other, and she had wanted to leave a long time ago. But the people at home were closely watched by Shen Haiping, and she couldn't escape without money. Now that she finally had the opportunity to take all the money at home while Shen Haiping was away, how could she still be willing to stay? Exclamation mark. Chapter 205 Pray 23. The resentful couple was pulling each other from the door of the room to the downstairs, and then to the street. You useless thing, get out of here. Su Qingni pushed Shen Haiping away with force. Shen Haiping was pushed aside, and Su Qingni also stepped back several steps due to the interaction of forces. Behind her was the street. A car drove over, and the driver was horrified to see a woman suddenly backing up to the middle of the road. When Guagua found Shen Haiping and Su Qingni, what he saw was the scene of Su Qingni being carried into the ambulance by the nurse. Guagua followed Su Qingni to the hospital and saw that Su Qingni could not be rescued and died. Guagua bought a piece of cemetery and handled Su Qingni's funeral. He went to see Shen Haiping, but he didn't recognize him. However, he left Shen Haiping a large sum of money. Don't ask him how he got the currency of Blue Star. He had a lot of good things in the Interstellar. He could get a lot of money by buying any one of them. It was enough for Shen Haiping to live a comfortable life for 50 years. After doing all this, Guagua still went to see his lover in his previous life. Sure enough, facing his lover in his previous life, there was no more ripples in his heart. He passed by his lover in his previous life. This was their only intersection in this life. They would never meet again. Guagua returned to the starship. Su Qingni cooked him a delicious meal. The boy had eaten special dishes from different planets and countries, but his favorite was the rabbit country food made by Su Qingni herself. However, Su Qingni was busy and rarely cooked, so Guagua rarely ate rabbit country food. At this time, Guagua was eating with a face full of enjoyment. Although he had eaten a lot of rabbit country food on Blue Star, from south to north, from east to west, he had tried all kinds of cuisines and snacks, and it was really delicious. But to Guagua, his mother's cooking tasted better. Rest well after eating, and get up to work tomorrow. Su Qingni said. Huh? What's the huh? The soldiers have been recruited almost. You lead a company and teach them to learn internal skills and teach them some knowledge of the interstellar. Do you understand? Su Qingni said. Yes, madam. Guagua saluted. Su Qingni smiled and rubbed Guagua's head and left. The next day, Guagua started working energetically. Unfortunately, the work was not smooth. Because the team of soldiers he led were not from Rabbit Country, they had no idea what internal skills were. The progress was very slow. Guagua couldn't help but envy Guan Yi and Gao Honghua. The soldiers they led were all Chinese soldiers. Even Mingaya, the soldiers she led, were from countries surrounding Rabbit Country, and had some understanding of Rabbit Country's legends about internal skills. Guagua was overwhelmed by the stupid soldiers under his command, and he had no time to think about anything else. The days passed in such a busy way. The entire blue planet and even the Milky Way have undergone earth-shaking changes. On Earth, airplanes and cars have gradually withdrawn from people's daily lives because flying cars have replaced them. Holographic online games are no longer a dream. Young people learn mechas in the holographic world, and everyone is looking forward to being able to drive a mecha in reality. Internal skills have been popularized all over the world. In order to learn internal skills well, Chinese has replaced English as the common language of Blue Planet. The technology on Blue Planet is changing with each passing day, but housing prices are plummeting. Because the Blue Star people have flown out of Blue Planet and built cities on Mars, many people have moved to Mars to live, and the population on Blue Planet has decreased by 1/3. In addition, the technology obtained from the Interstellar Alliance can build high-rise buildings up to 200 or 300 floors without any problems, and the housing shortage problem has been greatly improved. Everyone can own a house that is not small, so housing prices will naturally fall again and again. Now that the Blue Star people have landed on Jupiter and Mercury and are transforming the two planets, the rooms will only be lower in the future. Real estate businessmen have all changed their careers and become alien planet investors. They followed a group of scientists to Mars, Jupiter and Mercury for development and construction. 10 years later, Su Qingni resigned from the positions of the head of the Galaxy Division and the head of the 11th Legion, and drove the small starship she assembled to leave the Milky Way. She told others that she was going to explore the universe, but in fact, after leaving the Milky Way, Su Qingni left this world. I am the dividing line back to the witch world. Su Qingni gave the technical information obtained from the interstellar world to several juniors in the Wu clan who specialized in the development of science and technology. They are very fond of science and technology, and many of the Wu clan's technological things were invented by them. In order to study science and technology, they even neglected their own cultivation. This made the clan leader Chiyu very dissatisfied. You know, Chiyu is not too cold about science and technology. Chiyu assigned each of them a so-called life assistant to supervise these people's work and rest, so that these people can't stay and research for a long time, and they must go back to practice hard after a period of time. Su Qingni gave the information to these juniors, and the juniors cheered with joy. The ancestor is the best. The juniors shouted. When Su Qingni heard the title of ancestor, she sighed in her heart, and she actually became a figure of the ancestor level. Alice, It would be great if the clan leader was as reasonable as the old ancestor. A junior sighed. A sinister voice came from behind him. I'm sorry, this clan leader is so unreasonable. The junior was so scared that he jumped 10 feet high, and after landing, he quickly apologized. Clan leader, I said something wrong. Please forgive me this time. Well, I will go to practice immediately. After saying that, he immediately took a long step and ran away. This junior is a descendant of Khufu. With his legs spread out, he can cross a large space in one step, and disappear in the blink of an eye. The other juniors also scattered and ran away. Su Qingni couldn't help laughing, and said to Qiyu, it's quite interesting to scare them. Qiyu had a cold face and would never admit his bad taste. Su Qingni laughed. Qiyu is so stuffy. Qiyu asked, did the ancestor gain anything from this trip to the new world? Su Qingni nodded. The harvest was great. I found a piece of Rushu's true spirit, at least 1/10 of its size. Among the 11 ancestor witches, Rushu may be the first to be resurrected. Qiyu had never seen the 11 ancestor witches, but that did not stop him from worshipping them. Hearing that one of the ancestor witches would be resurrected soon, he was happy and had a smile on his face. Su Qingni took out the wine she brewed and threw a jar to Qiyu. Qiyu took it, opened the seal, and the rich aroma of wine immediately wafted out. Su Qingni raised the jar to Qiyu, and Qiyu returned the toast. The two of them each held the jar and drank, as a celebration in advance. Chapter 206 Game Master 1. Su Qingni turned on the computer and logged into the game interface. However, she did not log in with the original owner's account, but registered another account, entered the game, and started to do various novice tasks. She herself is a plugin, with a pair of fast hands. Su Qingni manipulated the little man in the game to quickly complete the novice tasks, left the novice village, came to the merchants who sold horses, spent all the money in the backpack, and bought a horse card. Holding the horse card out of the city, Su Qingni released the horse and the horse card. It is called a horse, but it is the lowest level mount in the game. There is no way. Who told the novice to go on the road? There is no money. I can only buy this lowest level horse. Su Qingni manipulated the game character to get on the horse, clicked on the map, and ran towards another map according to the map. That map is the location of high-level monsters. Su Qingni's game character is only level 10, and he will die immediately if he is touched by the monster. However, Su Qingni relied on the magic operation of her hands to break through the blockade of high-level monsters and rushed into the safe camp surrounded by high-level monsters. After entering the camp, Su Qingni began to search on the screen. After a while, she saw a Taoist priest with a game name Niangniang on his head. Su Qingni did not approach to talk, but only moved her game character closer to Niangniang so that she could observe the game character carefully. Sure enough, Niangniang was much more flexible and vivid than other game characters. This was not because the player who controlled Niangniang had good skills and good operation, but because Niangniang was not operated by the player at all. He was not a game character, but a real human. A soul entered the computer, attached to his own game character, and then wandered in the game world. Amazing, right? If it was written into a novel, someone would definitely be interested. This soul was not someone else, but the original owner of Su Qingni's current body, Su Qingni. This child escaped from reality and somehow entered the game world. Su Qingni found that the rules of this world were very interesting. This world is divided into two parts, the real world and the game world. Well, this game world specifically refers to the world of the game that Su Qingni is playing now. This game world seems to be connected to a real world, and the setting of that world is very similar to the game world. The connection between the three worlds is about to be completed, and the monsters in that world may appear in the real world. In order to protect the real world, the rules of this world will definitely do something. At that time, maybe the original owner Su Qingni will return to the real world with his body in the game. Su Qingni observed Niangniang for a long time. The child had a lot of fun and forgot the sadness in reality. Very good. She doesn't have to worry about this child. This child is a cautious person. He knows that after crossing into the game, he is afraid that he will not be able to revive like other game characters after death. Therefore, when doing tasks and killing monsters, he will find those he can deal with, and he will never seek death. After putting his mind at ease, Su Qingni left this map and returned to the map corresponding to the level of the game character. It's time for her to upgrade. Just as she was about to control the game character to receive the task from the NPC, Su Qingni suddenly had an idea. The original owner's soul can enter the game, so can her consciousness enter the game? It's better to act than to be moved. Su Qingni immediately pulled her consciousness out of her body and rushed towards the computer screen. The computer screen rippled. The people outside the computer fell into coma, and the game characters on the computer screen became lively and agile. Su Qingni jumped happily on the grass. It worked. It's really interesting. Isn't it the same as playing a holographic online game? Haha, other players are playing keyboard games, only I am playing a holographic game. How awesome. After the joy, Su Qingni patted the grass debris on her body. Her action has completely deviated from the set action of the game, but no player noticed it. It should be blocked by the rules of heaven and earth, right? Su Qingni looked at the players and NPCs one by one with interest. Looking at the players and NPCs from the computer screen, I only felt that except for the clothes, hairstyles, hair color and names, everyone's face is exactly the same. But she entered the game world, and from the perspective of her own game character, everyone's appearance is different. The players should present their original faces, while the NPCs, each with different looks and characteristics and style. Su Qingni was in a very good mood when she saw the NPCs. Most of the NPCs were handsome men and beautiful women, very pleasing to the eye, and made people feel happy just by looking at them. Su Qingni walked in front of an NPC. This NPC was called Feng Ruai, and he was a wandering wanderer. As a wanderer, his temperament was naturally the same as Chu Liuxiang and Lu Ziafen, and he liked beautiful girls. The task he issued was also very wandering, which was to go to Maple Leaf Valley to pick a bunch of flowers and give it to Miss Xin Mingayu of Mingayu Tower. Su Qingni took the task and went to Maple Leaf Valley. This task of picking flowers was not easy. There were butterflies protecting food on the beautiful flowers, and these butterflies would attack the players who picked the flowers. Although the butterflies were small and beautiful, their attacks were not weak, and they were all poisonous. The toxicity would cause the player to lose blood continuously. If the player did not carry an antidote, it would definitely be game over. Su Qingni did not have an antidote. There was no way. All the money was spent on buying horses. Where would she have the money to buy an antidote? She didn't even have the money to buy red and blue medicines. But how could Su Qingni be hurt by a small butterfly? Even though she could only use the skills in the game, Su Qingni was able to play it well. The butterfly couldn't hurt Su Qingni at all. After Su Qingni used a combination of skills, the butterfly fell to the ground. Su Qingni picked the flowers and put them in the storage bag. Just as she was about to continue picking, she heard people talking nearby. She could only see text in front of the screen, but in the game, Su Qingni could hear the players and NPCs talking, but she couldn't see the text. Amazing. This person's operation is amazing. God's operation. He actually completely avoided the damage from the butterfly. Whose smurf is this? Maybe it's a professional player who just entered the game. Do you want to pull him into our Haoshin League? Yes. Several people were about to walk towards Su Qingni, but Su Qingni had already collected all the flowers, jumped on the horse and left. Several people hurriedly chased after him. Su Qingni knew that they would not give up until they achieved their goal, so she simply stopped her horse, turned around and asked a few people, "What do you want to do?" That? The guy called Xianjian Knight said, "Hello, I am Xianjian Knight, the elder of Haoshin League, and we would like to invite you to join Haoshin League." No. Chapter 207 Game Master 2. No. Su Qingni directly rejected the invitation of the Sky Sword Knight. I like to be alone and don't like being bound. The Sky Sword Knight felt sorry that he couldn't recruit such a master. Although this person's level is so low now, he has a great operation and will be able to raise his level in a short time. When the game character reaches the maximum level, few people can defeat him with this person's operation. Then can we make friends? The Sky Sword Knight said. Such a person is only suitable for making friends, and cannot be forced by tough means, let alone become enemies. Maybe they can kill this person with their numbers and turn this person to death. But this person can change a game character, and with his skills, secretly deal with his own union and himself, then they will be miserable. Okay. Su Qingni exchanged game names with several people. These people have good character and are worth making friends with. Su Qingni's game name is the game name of the original owner, called No Intention to Go or Stay. The game names of the Sky Sword Knight's companions are 10 Miles Tower, Flowers blooming on the road, summer cicada nose autumn and night wind warm. Among them, Mo Shuanghuakai seems to be a pair with Niangniang night. Su Qingni chatted with a few people about the game and then left. She rode a horse to the outside of Mingyu building. Mingyu building is a 2-story building, and Xin Mingyu is on the 2nd floor of the small building. Su Qingni entered the small building, walked up the stairs to the 2nd floor, and came to Xin Mingyu's side. Xin Mingyu is a very beautiful girl, and also the most skillful girl. The jewelry she makes is very delicate and has different properties. Players often come to her to buy jewelry. However, the jewelry here is also sold at a very high price. If you are not a rich man, don't even think about buying a high-quality jewelry. If ordinary players want to get a piece of jewelry made by Xin Mingyu, they can only do the flower delivery task issued by Feng Ruai to Xin Mingyu. Su Qingni took the flowers out of the package. According to the game setting, a single flower is placed in the storage compartment, and when it is taken out, it has been wrapped into a bunch, and the packaging is very beautiful. Some female players will go to their Maple Leaf Valley to pick flowers even if there is no task to welcome Feng Ruai. Of course, male players will do the same, but they will not keep the flowers they pick for themselves, but give them to the girls they like. The Sky Sword Knights and others went to Maple Leaf Valley not to complete Feng Ruai's mission, but to pick flowers to sell for money. Xin Mingyu accepted the flowers with a smile and gave Su Qingni a necklace as a reward. The attributes of this necklace are very good, which can be regarded as top-notch. Su Qingni did not wear a necklace. With her ability, even if her equipment is not good, she can still beat other players and bosses. Turning back to Feng Ruai to hand in the task, Feng Ruai gave Su Qingni some experience and some money. Finally, she is not a pauper anymore. Su Qingni came to the restaurant and bought a few buns. There is a setting for hunger value in the game. If the hunger value drops, the game character will not only be unable to fight, but will even collapse on the ground and cannot even move. If you don't eat in time, the game character will starve to death, and then the level will drop by 1 level. Take a bite of the bun. I didn't expect to be able to feel the deliciousness of the bun in the game. This bun is really good, with thin skin and lots of meat, and the gravy penetrates the skin, which is very delicious. Su Qingni ate all the buns she bought. Now, she was a pauper again. She walked to the square in the center of the city. This was the free market, where players set up stalls to sell things. Su Qingni finally found an empty space in a corner, spread out a bed, and put the necklace on it. There were many players in the square, selling things and buying things, and the square was crowded. But it was good like this. With more people noticed Su Qingni's stall. Su Qingni didn't have to wait long before a rich player bought the necklace that Su Qingni had put out. The properties of the necklace were very good, and the price Su Qingni sold was a level cheaper than that sold by Xin Mingyu. When the player saw the price, he thought he had found a bargain, and immediately paid for the necklace. Now, Su Qingni was not only no longer a pauper, but also a little rich. After closing the stall, Su Qingni wandered around the city. The so-called city is actually a place for players to replenish supplies and take a break. No player would waste time wandering around the city. After all, they are all 2-dimensional pictures. What's so good about them? Su Qingni is different. In her eyes, everything around her is 3-dimensional unreal. Moreover, she doesn't play the game specifically for upgrading. Instead of spending time on upgrading, she might as well treat this world as a tourist attraction and play and eat more, and upgrade while having fun. The city in the game is very gorgeous and majestic. It can be said that there is a scene at every step. The pavilions and towers are carefully carved with patterns, and the green trees and flowers have their own fairy-like beauty. Su Qingni strolled leisurely and went into every building to see it. In this way, time was wasted. Su Qingni left the game and returned to her real body, and found that a whole day had passed. She touched her stomach. It was so flat, and this body had not eaten for 2 meals. Su Qingni hurried to the kitchen to find food. Well, there were a few packs of instant noodles in the kitchen cabinet, and there were eggs and luncheon meat in the refrigerator, as well as some vegetables. Su Qingni fried a poached egg and scooped the egg into a bowl. With a little oil left in the pot, pour in water, wait for the water to boil, put in instant noodles and seasoning packets, cut a few slices of luncheon meat, and 2 green vegetables. After the noodles are cooked, put them in a bowl. A bowl of fragrant noodles is cooked. After eating noodles, Su Qingni went to another room next to her bedroom. She took a red and blue plastic bag and threw the things in this room into the plastic bag one by one. After all the ornaments and other things were put into the plastic bag, Su Qingni opened the closet in the room again. The closet was full of women's clothes, but the styles were a bit old. It was not the dressing style of young girls, but the style of middle-aged women. Su Qingni threw all the clothes into the plastic bag, carried the plastic bag out of the house, came to the cabinet for collecting old clothes at the entrance of the community, and threw all the clothes in the plastic bag into the cabinet. Then throw the plastic bag and the ornaments inside next to the trash can. She took out her cell phone and searched for a second-hand furniture store. She discussed the sale of furniture with the store owner and asked him to pick up the furniture immediately. The store owner acted quickly. Half an hour later, he and two workers drove a small truck to the downstairs of Su Qingni's house. Su Qingni sold all the furniture in the room at a low price. Looking at the empty room without the aura of the original owner, Su Qingni expressed satisfaction. The original owner had mixed feelings about the owner of the room and didn't know how to deal with the things in the room. But she was not the original owner. Since she didn't like it, she just dealt with it all. Chapter 208 Game Master 3. This room belongs to the original owner's mother. The original owner has no father and grew up with his mother, so the original owner has deep feelings for his mother. However, no matter how deep the feelings are, when you know that everything is just a deception and your life is replaced by someone called mother, it will change. The original owner's mother died in a car accident more than a month ago. After the original owner finished his mother's funeral, he returned home to pack up his mother's things and found that his mother had been insisting on writing a diary. He opened the diary curiously, but it was like opening Pandora's box. The truth recorded in the days was unacceptable to the original owner. The original owner's mother Zhou Qing was the assistant of his biological father Su Guangmo. She fell in love with Su Guangmo because of Su Guangmo's wealth and his young and handsome appearance, and wanted to become Su Guangmo's woman. However, Su Guangmo already has a wife. He is a good husband and loves his wife very much. Even if his wife is in poor health and cannot bear their children, Su Guangmo has never thought of betraying his wife to find other women. Su Guangmo's wife Yiming has a heart disease and cannot bear pregnancy. So the couple went abroad, each provided sperm and eggs, and found a surrogate to help surrogate a child. Zhou Qing was one of the people who handled it at the time. She secretly withheld part of Su Guangmo's sperm, and found another surrogacy agency to make herself pregnant with Su Guangmo's child. After Zhou Qing's belly became big, she went to Su Guangmo with her belly, saying that she was willing to be Su Guangmo's underground lover, not expecting to become Mrs. Su, but only hoping to stay with Su Guangmo, give birth to children for him, and confessed that she really loved Su Guangmo. Su Guangmo was not moved by her behavior at all, but was disgusted by Zhou Qing's behavior. He asked someone to send Zhou Qing to the hospital to force the child in Zhou Qing's belly to be aborted. But Zhou Qing escaped and ran away to give birth to the child abroad. The hospital where she gave birth to the child was the hospital where the surrogacy agency was located. Zhou Qing came here to facilitate her next move. After seeing Su Guangmo being so cold to herself, although Zhou Qing did not give up her love for Su Guangmo, she knew that she wanted to be Su Guangmo's woman and stay by his side. Zhou Qing's maternal love overflowed, and she wanted to give her son the best. She couldn't stay with Su Guangmo, so her son had to stay with Su Guangmo, enjoy Su Guangmo's fatherly love for his son, and enjoy the life of the rich Su family. Therefore, Zhou Qing found an opportunity to exchange her own son with Yiming's son. And the original owner Su Qingni was Yiming's biological son. Zhou Qing brought Su Qingni back to China, and she could no longer stay in the Su family company. But she was unwilling to leave the city where Su Guangmo was, so she found a new job at house. Zhou Qing was capable and not short of money, so she hired a nanny to take care of Su Qingni. Su Qingni was brought up by a nanny when he was a child, but Zhou Qing bore the title of mother, and Su Qingni was still very attached to this mother. Zhou Qing was pretty good to Su Qingni, at least she didn't treat Su Qingni badly in terms of food and clothing, and occasionally showed care for Su Qingni, and was not at home most of the time. Su Qingni, who was sensible, thought that Zhou Qing was busy with work, and had no complaints about her mother who shouldered the responsibility of making money for the family. However, she did not know that Zhou Qing went to see her biological son in her spare time. Although the child did not know that Zhou Qing was his mother, Zhou Qing felt satisfied just by looking at him from a distance. After being satisfied, Zhou Qing's attitude towards Su Qingni would be better. It was this kindness that made Su Qingni happy, thinking that her mother loved her very much. Su Qingni's diary recorded all the truth and the process of exchanging children, and recorded her mood for so many years and her love for her biological children. There was no Su Qingni in it, because there was no Su Qingni in Su Qingni's heart, even if there was no guilt towards the child. The diary tore apart Su Qingni's self-righteous warmth. His dependent mother was not his biological mother, she had no maternal love for him, and the little warmth she gave him was just charity. Su Qingni almost collapsed. After losing one of their parents, children from single-parent families attach great importance to and rely on the other party, and they will invest all their feelings for their parents in one person. Su Qingni hated his misfortune. The person he depended on was not worthy of his affection. She turned him from a child with both parents into an orphan. She stole his life. Su Qingni couldn't stand it anymore and began to escape from reality. In this escape, his soul escaped directly into the game world. Su Qingni sympathized with this child. This child once secretly went to see his biological parents. He saw that his biological parents and Su Qingni's biological son, Su Qingni, were filial to each other. Su Guangmo and Yiming loved Su Qingni very much, and the family of three was very happy. There was no way Su Qingni could get in between them. Therefore, Su Qingni did not find Su Guangmo and Yiming and say that he was their biological son. He was afraid that even if these two knew the truth, they would choose Su Qingni. Su Qingni cleaned up the room, took a shower, and lay on the bed. The sheets were new, and the quilt and pillow were all newly bought. After buying it, I washed it in the washing machine and exposed it to the sun for a day, so it exuded the smell of sunshine. It smelled very good when wrapped around and was very comfortable to use. Su Qingni lay flat, feeling the changes in her body. After coming to this world, she did not practice like in the previous world. After a few days, she still had an ordinary body, but now, the body she possessed was different. She clearly felt a trace of power in her body. She raised her right hand, palm up, and made a flat support posture. The next moment, an ordinary iron sword appeared in the palm of her right hand. The tip of the sword was worn, which was caused by killing too many monsters and damaging its durability. This sword was the weapon he used in the game. Su Qingni chuckled, and her consciousness moved again. A translucent panel appeared in front of her, which was the panel of her game character. She reached out and clicked the pattern of the package, and the panel changed to a storage compartment. Su Qingni put the sword in the storage compartment of the room. Interesting. So interesting. The ability in the game was brought to reality. Su Qingni turned her head and looked in the direction of the window. Without drawing the curtains, Su Qingni could see the night sky outside the window. It was rare that she could see the stars today. The stars twinkled, as if transmitting some kind of code, or conveying some kind of power to the world. The abilities in the game can already be brought into reality, so when will the monsters in the game come to reality? What kind of changes will happen in the real world? Su Qingni rubbed her eyes and waited and saw. Chapter 209 Game Master 4. The next day, Su Qingni had breakfast and turned on her computer again, ready to log into the game. However, she set an alarm on her phone to remind her to log off the game and have lunch at a certain time. 3 meals a day must be eaten on time, which is good for the body. The power in the game can act on the real body, but food cannot act on the real body. Entering the game, Su Qingni was still in the main city. Yesterday, she walked around the main city and took on many tasks. She had completed some of the errands in the main city, and the remaining tasks required going out of the city to collect monsters. Along the main road, Su Qingni walked slowly towards the city gate. Several NPC children ran past her. These children looked very cute, and they just wanted to be hugged and pinched on their faces. Su Qingni did the same. She took a few steps forward, picked up one of the children, and pinched the child's face with her strange aunt's hands. The child was stunned and let Su Qingni bully him, without any other reaction. There was no way, the NPC had no intelligence. I don't know how Su Qingni can stay in this world. Doesn't he feel awkward that the NPCs are rigid and can't communicate? As expected, Su Qingni's action of bullying the NPC children was blocked again. A nearby player who was looking for children to accept tasks was puzzled. It seems that there is one less NPC child in this batch. After bullying the NPC children, Su Qingni happily went out of the city gate and blew a kiss to each of the guards at the city gate. Naturally, the NPC guards didn't react. She was not in a hurry to complete the task. When she encountered items specified in the task, she stopped to collect them. When she encountered monsters specified in the task, She killed them. She walked and enjoyed the scenery, and took a lot of pictures with the screenshot function. Halfway through the journey, a pavilion appeared in front of her. Although Su Qingni was not tired, she decided to take a rest in the pavilion. When she approached the pavilion, she found that there were quite a few people inside. It turned out that there was an NPC in the pavilion who could issue tasks. His name was Chu Yi, and he was a chivalrous knight. The modeling appearance of Chu Yi is very much in line with Su Qingni's preferences. The eyes and the tall nose look like Taiyai, the intelligent robot butler she made. Emma, her eager girlish heart. Su Qingni walked into the pavilion. Instead of squeezing into the one family to ask Chu Yi for tasks, she simply walked to the side of the pavilion and sat down, supporting her chin with both hands, watching Chu Yi issuing tasks to players. So handsome. I really want to tease him. Su Qingni just watched Chu Yi constantly issuing tasks to players, and kept watching. In the middle, Su Qingni was reminded by the alarm to leave the game world to eat lunch and dinner. In order to save time, she ordered the nearest takeaway from home. Give the takeaway boy a good review and give him a reward of 1 yuan. The takeaway boy is really fast. During this period after dinner, more players come to take tasks. This time period is the time when most players are online. Su Qingni just sat there motionlessly watching the handsome Chu Yi. Other players thought she was hanging up and ignored her. It was not until midnight that many players had logged off the game and there were no more players in front of Chu Yi. Su Qingni stood up and walked to Chu Yi. She first stretched out her finger and poked Chu Yi. "Hello, adventurer, can you do me a favor?" NPC Chu Yi asked according to the game settings, and then issued a task. Su Qingni accepted the task, and Chu Yi did not move. Su Qingni stretched out her finger and poked Chu Yi again, but unfortunately, she had already accepted the task and had not completed it, so Chu Yi would not respond to her. Su Qingni laughed, suddenly stepped forward and hugged NPC Chu Yi's neck, making an intimate gesture. Screenshot. Lips printed on the NPC's cheek. Screenshot. Hands moved to the NPC's waist. Screenshot. Cheek resting on the NPC's chest. Screenshot. Su Qingni was having a lot of fun taking screenshots. She decided to take these screenshots back to the main body as her own collection. She forgot that her game character was a male number, and the appearance was a man. The screenshot showed 2 men. Su Qingni was so engrossed that she forgot the passage of time. An hour passed quickly and it was already 1 in the morning. At this time, the harassed NPC couldn't stand this player anymore. Damn it. He knew that he was very popular and the female players liked to hold his arm to take screenshots and photos. But the player in front of him was indeed a man. He was not gay. Have you had enough? The NPC wanted to beat this guy away, but he held back when he raised his fist. For some reason, this player gave him a very familiar feeling, as if he had known him for a long time. What? Su Qingni was startled by the NPC's sudden voice and quickly stepped back, squinting at the NPC in front of him. Interesting, you actually have your own consciousness, not a rigid NPC. Su Qingni looked Chu Yi up and down, left and right. Are you a real soul entering the NPC's body, or are you from another real world? What do you mean? NPC Chu Yi was confused. Is the real world the world where you players are? I really want to take a look, but I haven't found a way to get out of your world yet. Not a real person, unlike Su Qingni. Su Qingni said, then you are from that real world. Which real world? NPC Chu Yi puzzled. In addition to the real world, there is this game world. Is there a third world? You don't know the existence of the real world. This time it was Su Qingni's turn to be surprised. Are you really a game NPC and have developed intelligence yourself? This is even more fun. Su Qingni felt that this world was becoming more and more interesting than any world she had traveled through before. NPC Chu Yi said, I don't know what the real world you are talking about is. When I was awake, I only knew the current game world. Later, I came into contact with more of you players and knew the existence of your world. Chu Yi is not a rookie. Just look at his rigid appearance when facing the players during the day, and you will know that he is a very cautious person. He knows that he is special. If the people in the player world know his specialness, it will bring him huge troubles. Maybe he will be formatted and lose his consciousness from then on. He has been carefully hiding himself. Only when there are no players in the game world at night will he leave the pavilion and move freely to explore this world. However, for some reason, He has great trust in the player in front of him and feels that the player in front of him is a partner who can be trusted. Therefore, he told his situation without any concealment. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 210 Game Master 5. NPC Chuyi felt that the player in front of him was a partner he could trust, so he told his situation without any concealment. Moreover, the other party's situation was also very unusual. He was not like the ordinary players. His movements and expressions were very vivid, unlike other players who had a stiff face, no expression, and did not even move their lips when speaking. This person made sounds with his mouth. Since he was different from other players, and he was different from other NPCs, they should be considered the same kind of people, right? He exposed his uniqueness in front of him, and he also exposed his difference in front of him. Do you really want to go to the player's world? Su Qingni asked Chuyi. Chuyi nodded, of course. This world is too boring, NPCs are very rigid and can't communicate. Players can communicate, but I can't communicate with them. Su Qingni could understand Chuyi's suffering. He could only move freely after midnight every day, but no one could communicate with him wherever he went. He must be very lonely. Reaching out and patting Chuyi on the shoulder, Su Qingni comforted him, just be patient for a while. After a while, you will definitely be able to go to the player's world. Even if Chuyi could not follow the monsters into the player's world today, she could pull him out of the computer screen. How did you know? Chuyi asked. Su Qingni, don't ask me why I know, I just know. If you believe me, just be patient for this period of time. Chuyi nodded, okay, I believe you. Anyway, he has been patient for a long time, so what's the harm in being patient for a while? Chuyi asked Su Qingni, isn't it your player's rest time now? You don't want to log out of the game. Su Qingni chuckled and said, no, I don't need to rest. Her soul was in the game, and her body outside the computer was always in a state of sleep, so she didn't need to sleep at all. I want to go around, can you be my tour guide? Su Qingni asked. Okay. Chuyi agreed very readily, the scenery of Luoxing Peak at night is very beautiful, I will take you to see it. In the past, he was alone, and no matter how beautiful the scenery was, it was just ordinary in his eyes. Now that there is someone by his side, he suddenly feels that the scenery he has seen before is so beautiful, and he really wants to take this person next to him to see it. Are we friends in this way? Chuyi asked Su Qingni. Su Qingni smiled and said, of course. We are friends. By the way, since we are friends, we have to exchange real names. My game name is Quilioi, but my real name is Su Qingni. You can call me Qingni in the future. Qingni? Ni as in Niba. No, it's Ni as in Niangniang. This name is a girl's name. What's wrong with a girl's name? The original body is a girl. While the two were talking, Chuyi had already summoned his mount. A very cool white tiger appeared on the hilltop in the distance, and it came to Chuyi in a few jumps. Its speed was amazing. As the old saying goes, clouds come from dragons and wind comes from tigers. With a bonus of wind, it's no wonder that the white tiger is so fast. The horse that Su Qingni had just summoned felt the power of the white tiger and collapsed to the ground. No matter how Su Qingni pulled, she couldn't pull it up. There was no way. The level difference was too big. Su Qingni bought a lowest level mount. Chuyi couldn't help laughing and invited Su Qingni, why don't you ride with me? Su Qingni didn't pretend and put the horse back into the horse cart. Chuyi, who had already sat on the back of the white tiger, stretched out his hand to Su Qingni. Su Qingni held the other's hand with her right hand. The opponent exerted force, and Su Qingni also got on the back of the white tiger. Let's go. Chuyi patted the big head of the white tiger, and the white tiger rushed out like a gust of wind. The two went to Luoxing Peak to see the night view and went to the main city of Yizhou to have breakfast. The game time is different from the real time. In reality, only an hour has passed, but in the game, a whole night has passed. Yizhou's snacks are very famous. When you enter the main city, there is a street full of snacks, including long jiaoshu, zhang dumplings, chuanbi liangfen, beijia fat intestine noodles, dandan noodles, 3 cannons, egg cake, red sugar rice cake, spicy tofu pudding, babo chicken. Each snack is very delicious, and the attribute bonus is also different. Players buy these snacks for gang battles or collective boss fights, and have no idea how delicious these things are. The two people ordered 4 yerba, 2 salty and 2 sweet ones, 2 bowls of tofu pudding, a basket of steamed buns, and 2 bowls of fat intestine noodles, and they ate until their bellies were full. It's delicious, Chu Yi said with satisfaction. Haven't you eaten here before? Su Qingni asked, picking up a sweet potato noodle. No, it's meaningless to eat alone. I feel like when I'm hungry, I just buy 2 steamed buns to solve it, Chu Yi said. Su Qingni looked at Chu Yi with pity. You have missed a lot of enjoyment. You know, only food should not be wasted. Chu Yi, but it feels meaningless for me to eat delicious food alone. Okay, I know you are lonely and pitiful. I will accompany you to eat all the delicious food in the game in the future, how about it? Okay. Chu Yi responded happily. Su Qingni, you pay. Chu Yi laughed. I won't let you pay. Although my identity is just a Jianghu guest, compared with you, I am still rich. Su Qingni snorted, and people are in trouble but don't break up. Chu Yi laughed happily. Su Qingni accompanied Chu Yi in the game, and both of them felt very happy. Unknowingly, it was 7 o'clock in reality. At this time, some players would go online. Chu Yi returned to the pavilion and continued to be his NPC who released tasks. Su Qingni greeted him and left the game. Back to the real body, Su Qingni stood up and did a few stretching exercises. Without any discomfort or sleepiness, Su Qingni made herself a bowl of egg noodles and went out to absorb the sun. All things grow with the sun. It is good for the human body to get more sun exposure. Not only can the ultraviolet rays of the sun kill bacteria on the skin, but it can also increase the elasticity of the skin, stimulate the body's hematopoietic function, promote calcium and phosphorus metabolism and the synthesis of vitamin D in the body, and make the bones and body stronger. Anyway, it is good to get more sun exposure. Staying in the house every day without sun exposure will make you a pretty boy, but you will look sick and not handsome at all. After going to the supermarket to buy a lot of vegetables and meat, Su Qingni decided to cook for herself in the future. Carrying several large plastic bags of things, Su Qingni returned home. On the way, she met several people who knew the original owner and Zhou Qing, and they all talked to Su Qingni in a sympathetic tone. Su Qingni dealt with it. Chapter 211 Game Master 6. After returning home, Su Qingni turned on the computer, but this time he did not play games, but registered an account and traded stocks online. The original owner had just graduated and had no job, but he had received scholarships with excellent grades since childhood, and with part-time jobs during holidays, he still had a savings of 40,000 to 50,000 yuan. Su Qingni invested all the money in the stock market to earn monthly living expenses. Zhou Qing naturally left money, but the original owner did not want to use Zhou Qing's money, and Su Qingni naturally did not want to use it either, and had donated all the money Zhou Qing left. At noon, he had a meal he cooked himself, 1 meat, 1 vegetable, 1 soup, and a bowl of white rice. After the meal, he took a nap after digesting the food. After waking up from the nap, he opened an author account on a novel website and started typing to make money. As for being a hacker, I haven't been a big brother for many years. For dinner, he drank a bowl of white rice porridge and ate a salted duck egg. After another half an hour of digestion after the meal, Su Qingni lay on his bed, put the computer on his bedside table, released his spiritual consciousness, and entered the game. The place where he came up was still in the pavilion. There were many players at this time. Seeing Chu Yi pretending to be a rigid NPC among the players, she walked out of the pavilion. She went to complete the task issued by Chu Yi first. With her relationship with Chu Yi would definitely give her the best reward. It didn't take much time to complete the task. Fortunately, there was a leveling area for intermediate monsters nearby. Su Qingni entered the leveling area and started to kill monsters to earn experience. Su Qingni's level was lower than that of the intermediate monsters. Others at her level would definitely be killed by monsters in seconds. However, Su Qingni easily killed the monster with her fighting skills. This was also because the monsters in this area were passive monsters. If they were active monsters, a large circle would surround them, and Su Qingni would have no choice but to fall to the ground. Su Qingni killed monsters one by one. She killed monsters above her level. After each monster died, it would contribute a lot of experience to her. Unknowingly, Su Qingni's level had risen by 5 or 6 levels. Finally, the time in reality was past 12 o'clock. There were no more players in the pavilion except Chu Yi. Su Qingni walked to Chu Yi. Chu Yi smiled at Su Qingni. "You're here." "Yes." Su Qingni responded and said to Chu Yi, "I'll hand in the task first." "Okay." Chu Yi responded with good temper, and indeed gave Su Qingni a generous reward. Su Qingni leveled up again with the experience points of the reward. "Where are we going today?" Chu Yi asked Su Qingni's opinion. Su Qingni said, "Let's go to the Mountain of Beasts. It's too dangerous for you to go there." Chu Yi said, "Your level is too low. The Mountain of Beasts is one of the front lines of the battle between humans and demons. The demons there are all high-level demons. If Su Qingni goes there, she will lose her life if she encounters any demon. Don't worry, I have a way to save my life." Su Qingni said, "Go there, I'll introduce someone to you. You won't tell other people about me." Chu Yi was shocked. "Of course not." Su Qingni hurriedly comforted Chu Yi. "The situation of that person is very special. It can be said that he is also an alien like you." "Is he also an NPC with intelligence?" Chu Yi asked. "No, his real-life human is in a similar situation to mine. His soul has entered the game world. The difference is that I can leave the game world at any time, but he can't." Su Qingni said, "This child had some unpleasant things happen in reality, and somehow his soul entered the game world, and he can't return to reality. So that's the case." Chu Yi became interested in the person Su Qingni mentioned. "If I make friends with this person, will it affect you?" Su Qingni shook her head, "No. But be careful when you interact with each other, don't let other players find out anything unusual." "I understand." Chu Yi said, "Just like when I'm dating you." Su Qingni smiled and took out her horse card. She used the money she got from killing monsters to buy another mount. Although it was still a horse, it was one of the 8 steeds of King Yuozhou, Bingxiao, which can travel thousands of miles at night. Bingxiao is considered a divine horse, so when facing the white tiger, it is not timid in reality, and can run side by side with the white tiger. Chu Yi led the way in front, and when a high-level monster approached, he waved his hand to kill it, and never let the monster get close to Su Qingni. The two arrived at the Beast Mountain, but did not see Niangniang in the camp of the Beast Mountain. They could not ask the NPC in the camp where Niangniang was, so they could only stay in the camp and wait for Niangniang to come back. Su Qingni and Chu Yi found some dead branches and lit a bonfire. Su Qingni took out 2 pieces of beast meat collected in the storage compartment, strung them on branches, put them on the fire and started to grill. Niangniang returned to the camp to rest after killing a wave of monsters and smelled the aroma of barbecue in the air. There is no store selling barbecue in this camp, so how could there be the aroma of barbecue? Niangniang was a little hungry, so he walked over following the aroma and saw an NPC and a player sitting in front of the fire, grilling meat. Is this a newly spawned NPC? Why does he look familiar? I wonder what task he has. Niangniang drooled as he thought and approached the 2 people grilling. The player who was grilling meat raised his head, smiled at Niangniang, and invited him, "Do you want to eat barbecue too? Then sit down." Niangniang was shocked. The expression on the face of the person in front of him was so vivid, and he didn't look like a puppet being manipulated at all. He wouldn't be the same as himself, right? You also entered the game as a soul?" Niangniang asked. As soon as he said it, Niangniang regretted it. What if this person is not on the same situation as him, then he will be exposed. Exclamation mark. What will happen to him in the future? Will there be scientists to study him? Niangniang shuddered. Su Qingni sensed Niangniang's fear and smiled. "Yes, I'm the same as you, my soul has entered the game." "Really?" Niangniang breathed a sigh of relief, walked a few steps to sit next to Su Qingni, and said in an eager tone, "It's great to meet you. I thought I was the only alien in the entire game world. Although this world is great, with beautiful scenery, good food, and the ability to spawn monsters, it still makes people feel lonely because they can't get too close to other players and can't communicate with people normally. Now it's good, with you as my kind, I finally don't have to talk to myself in front of unresponsive NPCs." Su Qingni smiled. "There are more than just you and me 2 aliens in the game." Niangniang was stunned. Could it be that the souls of other players have also entered the game? No. Su Qingni shook her head and pointed at Chu Yi. "The alien I'm talking about is him." Chapter 212 Game Master 7. The alien I'm talking about is him. He's an NPC. Yes, But Chuyi has intelligence and his own thoughts. Su Qingni said, he is an independent person now. Niangniang looked at Chuyi with his mouth wide open, feeling that his three views had to be rebuilt again. By the way, this game is too magical. Not only can the souls of players enter the game world, but the NPCs in the game world can also give birth to intelligence. Niangniang immediately became very enthusiastic about Chuyi. Although they are different in nature, they are also the same kind, right? Hello, Chuyi. No wonder I thought you looked familiar before. It turns out that you are the Chuyi from Torrenting. My name is Niangniang. Let's communicate more in the future. Chuyi nodded, but not during the day. I have to send tasks to players. Niangniang said that he understood that Chuyi could not let players and game companies find out that he was abnormal. Just like he only focused on killing monsters during the day and could not communicate with other players. Su Qingni distributed the roasted meat to Yunshu and Chuyi, and introduced herself. My game name is Quilioi, and my real name is Su Qingni. Yunshu and Yunshu were very surprised. Brother, we are so destined. My game name is Yunshu and Yunshu, and my real name is Su Qingni. Our game names and real names are so similar. Outsiders might think we are brothers. Su Qingni said meaningfully, maybe we are really brothers. Yunshu and Yunshu's heart moved, and they thought of Zhou Qing's biological son. That kid is a half-brother of hers. Could this person be him? No, not really. Zhou Qing's biological son is Su Qingchen, not Su Qingni. Could it be that this person is another half-brother of hers? Is your father Su Guangmo? Yunshu and Yunshu asked with mixed feelings. No. Su Qingni denied it flatly. Su Guangmo is related to Su Qingni, but not to her. Because she used Su Qingni's body, she only acknowledged Su Qingni as her brother, but would not acknowledge Su Guangmo and Yiming. If these two want to find their biological son, they should go find Su Qingni. Huh? Niangniang exhaled, but he didn't know what he felt in his heart. Happy? Sad? Regretful? A little bit of everything. Pulling Niangniang into their small group, the three of them went out together from then on. Niangniang was very happy. These days were the happiest days of his first half of life. There was no distress. He was like the knights on TV, traveling around the world, drinking, eating delicious food, and killing monsters. These days were so beautiful. It was so beautiful that Niangniang was completely immersed in this world, and he had no intention of returning to the real world. Su Qingni did not persuade Niangniang. The time had come, and he had to go back even if he didn't want to. The three of them were in a team state, and Chuyi could also gain experience points by killing monsters, which were divided among Su Qingni and Niangniang. Niangniang was at a high level, so most of the experience points went to Su Qingni. With Su Qingni's level, it was like a triple jump, and it reached the maximum level in less than 2 months. Now, Su Qingni could go anywhere. The three of them traveled through every inch of the game world. Qingni, have you seen the game announcement? Niangniang was lying on the grass, looking at the floating clouds in the sky, and asked Su Qingni. The sky's so beautiful. Where in the real world can you find such a beautiful sky? The sky in the real world is gray, the sky's gray, and the clouds are also gray. It's nothing like the sky above, the sky's so blue, and the clouds are so white. Oh, and there are red clouds, which are reflected by the sunset. I see. The game is holding a PK competition. What, do you want to participate? Su Qingni used grass leaves to weave something again, and while she was talking, a vivid grasshopper appeared in her hands. Niangniang responded, PK will not die in the PK competition. Su Qingni understood. Because he was worried that he would suffer unexpected consequences if he died once, Niangniang had never dared to PK with others. Even the PK field in the main city, Niangniang did not dare to go. Because although the PK field would not drop the level, people would die. And as a man with ability, how could he not have the urge to PK with others? Then go. Su Qingni said. You come with me, let's participate in the double competition. Niangniang sat up and looked at Su Qingni expectantly. Su Qingni nodded at Niangniang's dog eyes. Niangniang immediately took Su Qingni to sign up. Of course, in addition to the double competition, he also signed up for the single competition. After Chuyi heard about this, he smiled and said, the championship is contracted by you. 2 people participating in the competition can be said to be bullying other players. Although some god-level players are very good at operation, No matter how good they are, the game characters are only operated by the hands on the keyboard. How can they be as flexible as Niangniang and Su Qingni? With the skills of the two people, they are definitely the champions. The result was exactly as Chu Yi expected. Su Qingni and Niangniang won the doubles championship, and Niangniang won the singles championship. The two got 3 artifacts. There were no artifacts in the game before. These 3 artifacts are the only 3 in the game. The names of Niangniang and Yi spread throughout the game, and the two were top players in the eyes of the players. The Sky Sword Knight and others were happy and fortunate that they did not offend Yi and became friends with him. Well, why not invite Yi to participate in this guild war? It would be even better if Yi could bring Niangniang. Su Qingni opened the letter delivered by the carrier pigeon. This was an invitation letter from the Sky Sword Knight to her, inviting him to participate in the guild war between the Haotian League and other guilds. The Haotian League was very sincere and promised to give him a generous reward. The letter also asked him to help invite Niangniang. Su Qingni glanced at Niangniang beside her and asked, Haotian League invites us to participate in the guild war. Are you going? Niangniang was hesitant. He wanted to go, but the players in the guild war were fighting in chaos. What if he was killed? Su Qingni said, go if you want to. I will protect you. Niangniang had been with Su Qingni for such a long time and had a strong trust in Su Qingni. After Su Qingni said this, he did not hesitate and nodded vigorously. Su Qingni has been studying the game world during this period of time and has developed a method to protect Niangniang's soul. It has been added to Niangniang's soul. After that, if Niangniang is killed in the game world, he will return to the resurrection point to revive like other players, and it will not have any effect on his soul and level. Chapter 213 Game Master 8. Su Qingni did not tell Niangniang and Niangniang what she had done, leaving him to find out for himself. The guild war began, and the two of them mixed in with a group of players and started a melee. Don't talk about tactics or anything like that. When there are too many people, tactics or anything like that will not work. Su Qingni deliberately acted, and under the impact of other players, she was separated from Niangniang. Niangniang had already devoted himself to the battle, and did not realize that he had distanced himself from Su Qingni. At such a long distance, if he was in danger, Su Qingni would not have time to rescue him. Niangniang had high combat power and agility, but there was no way that the elephant would die when there were too many ants. Finally, Niangniang fell into crisis, and before he could ask Su Qingni for help, many attacks fell on him. Niangniang's blood volume dropped rapidly, and in the blink of an eye it was at the bottom. Niangniang were terrified. He was going to die. If he died in the game, would he die completely? Would his soul completely dissipate? Before he could finish thinking, suddenly, his eyes blurred, and when he looked again, he actually appeared at the resurrection point. Resurrection point. I resurrected myself. I can resurrect myself like other players. Haha. Great. Great. I can PK at will and fight legendary bosses in the future. Niangniang was full of energy at this moment, holding his weapon tightly and rushing into the battle again. The guild war ended, and naturally the Haotian League won. Niangniang played a considerable role in the battle. The Haotian League offered a generous thank you gift and invited Niangniang to join the Haotian League. Although Niangniang was very tempted, he still reluctantly refused. Time passed in happiness, and in a blink of an eye, 3 months had passed in reality. On this day, Su Qingni was preparing dinner in the kitchen, and there was a knock on the door. Su Qingni opened the door and saw an unexpected but reasonable person standing at the door, Su Guangmo. I think this person has discovered that Su Qingni and Su Qingni have swapped identities. Come in and sit down. Su Qingni said lightly. Su Guangmo raised his eyebrows slightly. Isn't this young man's performance too plain? He should know me. But he didn't feel surprised or honored that the richest man in City A came to see him. This behavior was too strange. Or, he knew that he was his son. The so-called knowing was that Su Guangmo thought Su Qingni knew that he was the illegitimate son of Su Guangmo and Zhou Qing. Su Guangmo walked into the living room and sat down on the sofa. Su Qingni poured him a glass of boiled water and sat opposite Su Guangmo. Do you know who I am? Su Guangmo asked. Su Qingni nodded. Then do you know who I am? Su Guangmo also nodded. If I didn't know your true identity, I wouldn't come to you. Su Qingni, so, you know that Su Qingni is not Zhou Qing's son, but yours and Yi Ming's son. Su Guangmo's cold expression changed a little. You actually knew it. Su Qingni said lightly, Zhou Qing has the habit of writing a diary. No wonder. Su Guangmo said, some time ago, I found that Qingxin's blood type was different from mine and Ming's. I thought he was not my son, so I asked someone to test his DNA. The result showed that Qingxin was not Ming's son but my son. The person I thought of at the time was Zhou Qing. I asked someone to investigate Zhou Qing and found out that she had swapped children. So what? Su Qingni stared at Su Guangmo and said, you are the only one who came to me today, which means that Ms. Yiming and Su Qingxin don't know the truth, right? You don't want them to know the truth. Su Guangmo nodded, you are very smart, a lot like me. Yes, I don't want them to know the truth. Ming has a bad heart and can't stand the stimulation. And she loves Qingxin very much? The mother-son relationship of more than 20 years is not fake. I don't want her to be stimulated, and I don't want her body to deteriorate. You don't want her to be in danger because of heart stimulation, do you? After all, she is your biological mother. Su Guangmo played the emotional card. Su Qingni said Su Qingni has already lost a mother, and certainly doesn't want to lose another mother. Su Guangmo was satisfied with Su Qingni's response. This child seems to have a good character. Although he can't recognize him back to the Su family, he will not treat him badly, and will leave part of the inheritance to him in the future. Su Guangmo continued, Qingxin is the heir I carefully trained. I don't want this heir to be ruined because of his identity being exposed. I have read your resume from childhood to adulthood. You are indeed very outstanding. If you grow up in the Su family, you will definitely grow up to be a better heir than Qingxin. But the problem is that you did not grow up in the Su family, and the circle you are exposed to is also far from the level of the Su family. Moreover, you have grown up, and it is very troublesome to train from scratch. With your knowledge and ability, you cannot bear the Su family. Therefore, I don't want to change the heir. Please understand. Su Qingni asked, what if I don't understand? Su Guangmo, I have a way to make you understand. The strong momentum bursting out of him was enough to scare away many people, but Su Qingni was really calm about it. Su Guangmo's eyes flashed with a trace of regret and appreciation. What a pity for the child in front of him. Damn Zhou Qing, if it weren't for her, I would have a more outstanding heir. Humph, she is dead. If she is alive, I will definitely make her regret being born in this world. Su Guangmo said, I have decided to send you abroad. Don't worry, I have made arrangements abroad, and I have also arranged for you to study in a prestigious university abroad, and you will also have a house and a car. There is a branch of the Su family abroad, and I will ask you to transfer it to your name. No need. Su Qingni refused, I don't want the money you give me, and of course, I won't go abroad. I am used to Chinese food and don't like Western food. Don't worry, I didn't go to find your family of 3 when I knew my true identity before, and I won't disturb your life in the future. Today, I will pretend that you have never been here. You can live the way you want in the future, and I will live my own life, and we have nothing to do with each other. Do you know how much wealth I have as the richest man in city, eh? Do you know how much wealth you have given up? Su Guangmo stared into Su Qingni's eyes, not believing that anyone could refuse wealth. I know. Su Qingni said, but too much money brings trouble, and I just hate trouble. I live alone, and it's enough for me to be content with a small fortune. Don't you have any ambition? Your past experience shows that you are not such a person. Su Guangmo frowned, dissatisfied with Su Qingni's reaction and more suspicious. Su Qingni sneered, Su Qingni's ambition is for Zhou Qing to see, in order to get Zhou Qing's praise. Now that there is no one who cares about Su Qingni, what else is there to be ambitious about? Chapter 214 Game Master 9. Su Qingni resolutely rejected Su Guangmo. Well, I hope you won't regret it later. Su Guangmo stood up, remember your promise and don't let the truth out. Of course. Su Qingni stood up and sent Su Guangmo to the door. Mr. Su, money is not omnipotent. Especially sometimes, no matter how much money you have, you can't protect your life. It's better to use it to buy some life-saving things. What do you mean? Su Guangmo asked coldly. Nothing? Just a reminder to you. With so much money, it's better to hire more powerful bodyguards. After that, Su Qingni closed the door in front of Su Guangmo. Su Guangmo was very angry. This was simply a slap in his face. He wanted to teach the people in the room a lesson, but finally gave up. After all, the person in the room was his biological son. He felt sorry for this son and he still felt guilty. Su Guangmo's arrival did not affect Su Qingni's mood. Su Qingni had dinner, went downstairs for a half-hour walk, and entered the game. This time, she found Yunjun and Yunshu and said straight to the point, "Su Qingni, Su Guangmo came to see me today." "What?" Yunjun's hand loosened, and the weapon fell to the ground. It was hit by an attack from the monster that was being spawned, and turned into white light and disappeared. Su Qingni rode a horse to the nearest resurrection point. Yunjun had already walked out of the resurrection point. When he saw her, he immediately rushed forward, holding Su Qingni's shoulders with both hands, and asked anxiously, "Why did Su Guangmo come to see you? What is your relationship with him?" Su Qingni slapped Yunjun's hand and said, "Let's go to the inn to talk, there are too many people here." After saying that, she pulled Yunjun back to the main city from the teleportation stone, entered the inn, paid to book a room, and pulled Yunjun in. Once the door was closed, a closed space was formed here. This kind of room is set up for players to discuss confidential events. Even the people from the game company cannot see what the people in the room are talking about through the game monitoring. Su Qingni let go of Yunjun, and seeing that Yunjun was about to ask again, she asked first, "Su Qingni, do you know what happened to your body after your soul entered the game?" "My body?" Su Qingni was stunned. He had never thought about this question. How long has his soul been in the game? Calculating it, it has been several months, right? My body should have turned into ashes, right? Su Qingni's mood fell for a while. "No." Su Qingni said lightly, "After your soul entered the game, another soul appeared in your body. That was me. Strictly speaking, I should be your second personality, and then we split. You entered the game, and I was still in reality. The reason why I entered the game was to find you and see if you were doing well in the game. I was able to enter the game with my soul because you were in the game, otherwise how could someone's soul be able to enter and exit the game so easily?" Su Qingni's mouth opened wide, and he couldn't help drooling, but he didn't react. Su Qingni pushed Su Qingni awake with disdain and threw him a handkerchief used as a prop. "Wipe the drool." "Oh." Su Qingni wiped the drool from his chin with a handkerchief in a daze. At this time, he suddenly reacted, "You mean, you are me?" "No. I am just Su Qingni, just like you are just Su Qingni." Oh. Su Qingni foolishly accepted Su Qingni's conclusion. Although Su Qingni is her second personality, the two have separated and are not on the same body. They can talk in the game and kill monsters together. Their thoughts and behaviors are completely different. This is enough to show that the two are really two people. Su Qingni found Su Qingni's silly performance very interesting, and raised the corner of her mouth slightly and said, "Call me brother and listen." "Why call you brother? You should call me brother, right?" Su Qingni protested. Su Qingni smiled at Su Qingni, "Because I am more mature than you." Su Qingni. In terms of personality, the other party is more mature than him. Su Qingni scratched his head. He couldn't say the word brother for a while. Su Qingni didn't force Su Qingni to call him. She restrained her smile and said seriously, "Su Guangmo came to me yesterday. He has found out about Zhou Qing's baby swap." Su Qingni was shocked and his expression was gone. He stared at Su Qingni's face with a complicated expression and asked in a hoarse voice, "What did he say?" There was a hint of expectation in his voice. However, Su Qingni ruthlessly dashed his expectations. He doesn't want to exchange back the identities of Su Qingni and Su Qingchen. He wants to send Su Qingni abroad and not let Yiming and Su Qingchen know about the existence of Su Qingni. As compensation, he will give Su Qingni a company abroad, send Su Qingni to a famous foreign university, and give Su Qingni enough money. His expectations were shattered, and a sad look appeared on Su Qingni's face. His voice became even more bitter, with a hint of tears. "Who cares about his money? If I cared about his money, I would have gone to find them the moment I knew the truth." He finally couldn't help crying. "I knew it earlier, I knew that in their hearts, Su Qingchen is their son. What about their 20 years of relationship? It is because I understood this that I didn't go to find them. I didn't expect them to come to me on their own, and I didn't expect that they. The rest of the words were choked with sobs, and Su Qingni reached out and stroked Su Qingni's head to comfort the young man. The warm palm stroked his head again and again, and the young man felt a little comfort and warmth. Fortunately, there is still someone in this world who cares about him. He doesn't count on his parents, but he still has a brother. Brother. Su Qingni finally called out these two words. When Su Qingni calmed down, Su Qingni said what she would say to Su Guangmo. I refuse to go abroad. Su Qingni said, the road is wide and we will go our separate ways. We will have nothing to do with the Su family in the future. Su Qingni nodded vigorously. Su Qingni touched Su Qingni like a puppy's head. I hope you won't regret it in the future, and don't blame me for my self-determined choice. Su Qingni hurriedly said, I don't regret it, I will never regret it. Su Qingni smiled, it's hard to say what people feel. Su Qingni doesn't regret it now, who knows if he will regret it in a few years or decades? After all, Su Guangmo and Yiming are his biological parents. This child has lacked fatherly and motherly love since he was a child, and deep in his heart he longs for this kind of emotion the most. Now this is just because he is hurt by Su Guangmo's attitude. Who knows, Su Guangmo will regret it in the future and come to find Su Qingni. At that time, what will Su Qingni choose? Chapter 215 Game Master 10. It was a very ordinary day. Su Qingni went to the supermarket to buy food reserves. After buying 2 large bags of supplies, Su Qingni walked out of the supermarket and walked along the sidewalk to the residential area where she lived. Suddenly, a black hole appeared in the air 10 meters high, and 20 humanoid monsters jumped out of the black hole. They landed on the ground and began to wander around. However, the range of their movement seemed to be fixed, only 100 meters in diameter. They will actively attack humans, but if humans accidentally touch them, they will start to attack and kill those who touch them. The pedestrians on the road were all frightened and hurried away from these monsters. However, curiosity prompted them to stay outside the 100-meter range and hide behind the buildings to observe these monsters. Some young people took out their mobile phones to record videos of the monsters wandering and posted them on the internet, which attracted the attention of many people. Is this true? This video is not a fake. Of course it's true. I was also at the scene and recorded a video. I'll send it to you. I say, why do these monsters look so familiar? I think they look familiar, too. They look like monsters in the game. They are the monsters in the game. The monsters in Xianlu legend. Yes, they are the monsters in Xianlu legend. These are the fishmen next to the stream outside Yangsha village. These netizens sent screenshots of the fishmen in the game. The appearance of the fishmen in the game is exactly the same as the monsters wandering on the streets in reality. Everyone was shocked. The monsters in the game actually ran into reality. Is the game world connected to the real world? If the big boss in the game world ran out, with their force and destructive value, would the earth be directly reduced to the end of the world? In reality, there is more than one place where monsters appear. Monsters appear in many places. The army was dispatched. Fortunately, the defense value of these monsters is not high. The army used thermal weapons to remotely eliminate all the monsters. But no one has completely put down their worries. After all, Murlocs are the lowest level monsters in the game, and players who have not left the Novus village can kill them. If, as many people speculate, the real world is really connected to the game world, then the monsters that come to reality cannot be only low-level monsters like Murlocs. There may be more and more advanced monsters coming to the real world. The high-level monsters in the game not only have high attack power but also high defense. Can modern weapons effectively kill them? On this day, most people in the world were worried, and only a few people were ecstatic. Because they were hit on the head by a pie falling from the sky. These people are players of Xianlu legend. Just today, they found that their game characters have merged with their real bodies. They have the level and various skills of the game characters, storage compartments, and equipment that increases attributes. Everyone is excited. They are chosen by God and are about to reach the peak of their lives. Then, they receive the task posted on the game panel, eliminate the monsters that invaded the real world. These people clicked to accept the task, opened the map, and looked at the red dots on the map to find monsters. They were wearing costumes from the game, and were looked at by others with strange eyes. But no one said anything, and they all thought they were cosplayers. These people held their heads high and looked down on others. Humph, we are now heroes who can defeat monsters and protect the earth. You ordinary people will have to rely on us for protection in the future. They took a taxi to the place where the monsters appeared, and these people were dumbfounded. The monsters were all destroyed. They were all destroyed by the army with hot weapons. So what were they doing? These people went home unhappy. They didn't know that they would really be used later. The level of monsters entering the real world later became higher and higher, and modern hot weapons caused less damage to them. Of course, there are powerful hot weapons that can kill monsters in modern times, but the problem is that the power is too great, the killing range is large, and the damage caused is also huge, so the players can't kill monsters. Environmental protection and pollution-free, how great. At this time, it is time for these players to step onto the stage and become heroes. Su Qingni watched the whole process of the fishman from its appearance to its destruction by hot weapons. She pretended to be a passerby and went home after being asked a few questions. She turned on the computer, entered the game, and found Su Qingni and Chu Yi. The time has come. Do you want to go to the real world? Su Qingni asked. Chu Yi agreed immediately, of course. He had wanted to go to the real world for a long time. And Su Qingni agreed after only a moment of silence. If there was no Su Qingni, he would rather live in the game world forever. But now with Su Qingni, he has no escape from returning to the real world. Well, the game world is good, the food is delicious and the scenery is charming, but there is no network and mobile phone, no. He misses it a little. In that case, let's go out. Su Qingni said. Don't you need to prepare anything? Su Qingni asked hurriedly. Su Qingni, prepare what? Su Qingni, like an altar or a teleportation array. Su Qingni chuckled twice, no need. She stretched out her hands, grabbed one arm of Chu Yi and Su Qingni respectively, and took the two out of the game world. Chu Yi and Su Qingni only felt that their eyes were blurred, and the environment around them had changed. Su Qingni looked at the strange yet familiar room, feeling a lot of emotions in his heart. He never thought that one day he would be able to see his original home again and return to the real world. Chu Yi looked around silently. Is this the real world? It is indeed interesting to look at, but the air quality is really too bad. Su Qingni stood up from the chair and looked at the two people in front of him with a smile. Unlike him, these two people became entities after coming out of the game world. They each have their own bodies, but their bodies are half digital and half human. Su Qingni looked at Su Qingni's face and sighed, I haven't seen this look for a long time. Su Qingni pulled Su Qingni into the bathroom, pointed at the mirror hanging above the sink and said, no need to sigh at my appearance, you look like this too. Huh? Su Qingni stared at himself in the mirror in surprise and joy, and said, I thought the appearance I had was configured for me by the game system. Su Qingni said, the way your appearance is displayed depends on your soul. If every player has the appearance configured by the system, there will be too many people who look the same in this world. Su Qingni puzzled, what do you mean? Su Qingni did not speak, turned on her mobile phone, and asked Su Qingni to search for the hottest news. Chapter 216 Game Master's Eye. Chu Yi walked to Su Qingni's side and lowered his head to look at the screen of his mobile phone. He had a good vision and could clearly see the words and pictures on the screen. In order to enable Chu Yi to adapt to modern society more quickly, Su Qingni began to teach Chu Yi some knowledge of modern society as early as when he was in the game, and writing was one of them. There is a big difference between traditional Chinese characters and simplified Chinese characters. Chu Yi had already learned simplified Chinese characters, and now he has no problem reading the text on his mobile phone. So, he and Su Qingni both knew that the monsters in the game world had come to the real world. Unlike most people's worries, they immediately understood what Su Qingni meant by the previous sentence. In addition to his coming to the real world, there are also many game characters in the game who have come to the real world. Chu Yi asked. Su Qingni shook her head and said, it's not that the game characters come to the real world, but that the players have the abilities of the game characters they operate, which is equivalent to them merging with their own game characters. Su Qingni opened his mouth wide. Chu Yi pinched his chin. Will the real world become the same as the game world in the future? Su Qingni said, it won't be the same as the game world, but it will change a lot and become very interesting. She took out 2 sets of prepared clothes and gave them to Chu Yi and Su Qingni, asking them to change clothes. To celebrate your arrival in reality, let's go out for dinner tonight. Chu Yi and Su Qingni changed their clothes separately. Su Qingni didn't see the clothes they changed, so she asked, where are the equipment you changed? Su Qingni said, in the storage compartment. There is a one-click change of clothes button on the attribute panel. Press it, and the equipment in the storage compartment will be equipped to you immediately. After that, He demonstrated it to Su Qingni. The casual clothes on her body suddenly changed into the equipment in the game, and then changed back to casual clothes. Interesting, very interesting. Su Qingni smiled. Her mind moved, and the attribute panel and storage compartment appeared in front of her. There was a one-click change of clothes button on the attribute panel. Su Qingni stretched out her finger and pointed. Swish, Su Qingni's clothes changed, and it was exactly the orange outfit she was in the game. Press the button again, and the clothes on his body changed back. Very convenient. Su Qingni laughed and complained, in the future, those players who are given important responsibilities can change their clothes and start fighting monsters with just one button, without having to go through a set of procedures like some old girls' comics, and then shouting XX power make-up or something. It's a waste of time. If the opponent is not affected by the mentally retarded aura, you can take advantage of this time to launch an attack and KO them before the opponent finishes changing their clothes. Su Qingni asked stupidly, what girl's comic? Su Qingni said I forgot the name. Oh my, this is revealing your age. Su Qingni wanted to ask more, but was interrupted by Chu Yi. Can we go out? I can't wait to see this world. Su Qingni was diverted and immediately said, let's go, let's go. I will guide you and let you get familiar with this world as quickly as possible. After that, he walked out of the room first. However, after walking out of the room, Su Qingni and Chu Yi both heard Su Qingni sighed in relief. The first step out of the room was his first step into the real world again. He did it very successfully and broke his knot. Su Qingni and Chu Yi walked up, patted Su Qingni on one shoulder, and said with a smile, let's go. Su Qingni was very familiar with this city. He led the way and took Su Qingni and Chu Yi to an inexpensive Laozao hot pot restaurant. According to him, this hot pot restaurant has been open for decades and the taste is very authentic. The three of them ordered a lot of dishes. Those dishes were enough for 10 people, but they were eaten up by just 3 people. When paying the bill, the waiter kept scanning the stomachs of the 3 people with a surprised look, and found that the stomachs of the 3 people were not bulging at all, and he couldn't help but be shocked. After leaving the hot pot restaurant, the 3 did not go home. Su Qingni took the 2 people to tour the city, explaining to Chu Yi everything he saw and every building. Chu Yi looked at everything with a surprised look, quickly absorbing the knowledge in Su Qingni's words. Patrolling troops can be seen on the streets to prevent monsters from appearing again. A kind soldier advised the 3 to go home quickly to avoid encountering monsters. Su Qingni pretended to be stupid and said, didn't you say that as long as you don't touch the bodies of those monsters, you won't be attacked? The soldier said, that's because the fishman is a passive monster. If an active monster pops up, then no matter what, as long as you enter their wandering area, they will attack. Su Qingni, so you also play Legend of Xianlu? The soldier, you play it during your breaks. Su Qingni patted the soldier on the shoulder, manage your game characters well, maybe there will be surprises. After that, she followed Su Qingni and Chu Yi away. The soldier looked at the backs of the 3 people and whispered to himself, I'm so busy now, I have to carry out patrol missions every day, where do I have time to play games? Just after he finished speaking, the soldier saw a black hole appear in the sky, and he hurriedly shouted to warn, something happened, a black hole appeared in the sky. As soon as the voice fell, the figure of the monster had appeared in front of the black hole. The soldier and his teammates reacted quickly and immediately raised their weapons to shoot at the black hole. The number of monsters that appeared in the black hole was less than that of the Murlocs, only 5, but their defense was amazing, and the damage caused by thermal weapons to them was very low. The soldier recognized these 5 monsters. This was a low-level monster called General Crab near the main city. Although they were both low-level monsters, General Crab was level 15, while the level of the Murloc was only level 8. Moreover, General Crab was famous for its high defense, and was least afraid of physical attacks, but had poor magic defense. But the problem was that this was not a game, so where would the magician come from to kill these bugs? Seeing that the ammunition in his weapon was about to run out, and only one General Crab was killed, the soldier was anxious and worried. He bit his lips tightly. Even if he had to sacrifice his life, he could not let General Crab escape from their encirclement and hurt ordinary people. At this moment, his comrades in arms had exactly the same idea as him. Just when the soldier wanted to rush forward to fight General Crab with his bare hands, he felt a pain in his head, and then a cool feeling flowed from his eyebrows and flowed all over his body. He was surprised to find that his clothes had changed. The camouflage uniform turned into blue and white Taoist robe. He held a long sword in his right hand. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 217 Game Master's Eye. The soldier stared at his outfit in astonishment. Why is this outfit so familiar? Why is it so similar to the appearance of the characters in the Legend of Xianlu he played? Just as he was thinking, a translucent game panel appeared in front of the soldier's eyes. The top row of conspicuous red words: Mission, kill the monster crab general who invaded the origin world. Mission reward: 5,000 experience points. The soldier blinked his eyes. Has he become a game character? Can he accept missions, so can he use game skills? Thinking of this, the soldier felt that his hands moved involuntarily. With a long sword in his right hand, he pointed at the monster in front of him, pinched his left hand, and his mouth moved involuntarily, muttering something, which was the spell when the skills were activated in the game. Then, the soldier's companions watched in horror as a fire dragon emerged from the soldier's long sword and rushed into the body of one of the crab generals. The crab general, who was not injured by the bullet, twitched all over and fell to the ground. This attack, awesome. The companions turned their heads to look at the person who discovered the attack and found that the soldier's appearance had changed. Yato, what happened to you? Why did you change your appearance? What happened to your attack just now? The platoon leader was the first to react and asked. The equally stunned soldier Yato also reacted and stammered, Platoon leader, I have the abilities of my game character, and I can also kill monsters in reality to gain experience. What did you say? The platoon leader felt that this answer was too shocking and hurt his little heart. Well, he also played Legend of Xianlu. Why didn't he have the abilities of the game character? The platoon leader immediately contacted his superiors, and soon, the soldier Yato was taken away by a special person and joined a new team. The same situation happened in many places in this world. Zhou Gang loved to dream since he was a child. When he was a child, he dreamed that he was a prince of a small country who was stranded in a foreign country. One day, he would be found back to his country, live a life of superiority, and marry Snow White when he grew up. When he grew up, he dreamed that he was the descendant of a supernatural being, dreaming that one day he would meet an old grandfather who sold cultivation secrets or be knocked down by a meteorite with a system falling from the sky. However, dreams are always dreams. Zhou Gang can still tell the difference. He loves to dream, but he can also tell the difference between reality and reality. He studied hard to get into a good university and become a civil servant. He found a wife who can't be called a beauty but has a pretty face. At the beginning of this year, his wife gave birth to a daughter. Taking care of a baby is very tiring, and Zhou Gang has not dreamed for a long time. But at this time, Zhou Gang suspected that he was dreaming again. He thought he was too tired, and fell asleep while walking, and then dreamed. He originally came out to play soy sauce, but he found a black hole in the sky on the road, and a monster came out of the black hole. Although he had to take care of his daughter and work, Zhou Gang still took time to check his phone every day, and naturally knew about the appearance of monsters in the world. Although he was afraid but also curious in his heart, Zhou Gang did not leave quickly, but stayed at the scene to see the strange things. Yesterday's video showed that the monsters did not actively attack people. As long as people did not actively provoke them, there was no danger. Moreover, the army will arrive soon and kill these monsters with hot weapons. Zhou Gang, like most passers-by, was afraid of the new monsters because of the video, but they were not particularly frightened. They did not think they would have documents. But, inherent ideas are not desirable. Haven't you heard of Wuxia, who met again after 3 days of absence? One monster will not actively attack humans, but it does not mean that other monsters will not actively attack humans. Therefore, those who stayed to watch the excitement were miserable. These monsters that just came out were active monsters. They rushed over excitedly when they saw people, and several passers-by were seriously injured by them. The bloody scene scared everyone, and everyone screamed and ran away. Zhou Gang also wanted to run, but a buddy next to him bumped into him when he ran away. He staggered and fell to the ground. When he got up and wanted to run, it was too late. One of the monsters had already rushed in front of him. It seemed that he was about to follow the footsteps of the buddies in front of him. Suddenly he felt a pain in his head, and then a cool air flowed from his eyebrows and circulated throughout his body, and then concentrated on his hands. His hands involuntarily waved forward. What a big head flew into the air. Zhou Gang stared blankly at the headless monster corpse on the ground, then looked at the Niangniang sword in his hands, and realized that he was too tired, fell asleep while walking on the road, and began to dream. He dreamed that he had become a character in the game he had played. Since it was a dream, why should I be afraid of monsters? I am the master of my own dreams. In dreams, I am invincible. Zhou Gang waved the Niangniang sword and used the skills in the game to kill all the remaining monsters. Then, the army came and took him to place, and then joined a newly established team and became one of them. When he returned home dizzy, he realized, damn it. He was not dreaming, everything he had experienced before was real. Husband, why did you come back just now? The wife came out of the bedroom holding her daughter, saw Zhou Gang, and asked, did you go to Africa to buy soy sauce? Soy sauce. Zhou Gang then remembered the purpose of his original going out. He broke the soy sauce bottle and didn't have time to buy a new one. I'll go buy it. Zhou Gang immediately rushed out of the house. Zhou Gang's wife? What did this guy do? When he comes back, I must interrogate him thoroughly. Niangniang went to attend their uncle's birthday party with her parents. The eldest cousin was very rich and had booked a farmhouse in the suburbs for a day, inviting all relatives and friends to eat, drink and have fun for a day. The Xia family has a large population. Xia's father has 8 brothers and sisters in total, and there are 15 of the next generation. In addition to the other half who are already married and have given birth to the 3rd generation, the total population of the Xia family is 40. In addition to the relatives and friends of the eldest uncle of the Xia family, there are no less than 80 people who came to attend the birthday party of the eldest uncle this time. The tea house in the farmhouse was full of people, and everyone was chattering and chatting, and it was very lively. Niangniang sat next to Xia's mother, with a twitch on her lips, letting Xia's mother discuss with her aunts and sisters-in-law about finding a partner for Niangniang. Yes, she is the only one in the family who has not married and has reached a marriageable age, so these middle-aged and elderly women focus their attention on her. But you should stop at the right time. You found more than 30 blind dates for her at once and asked her to see all of them within 7 days. Isn't it too difficult for her? Chapter 218 Game Master 13. Using the excuse of urinating, Niangniang broke away from the group of women soldiers and ran out. Standing in the courtyard, Niangniang let out a long breath and saw several children running over with laughter. The oldest among them was Xiameng, the daughter of her eldest cousin. The little girl was 14 years old and a beautiful girl. Today she dressed up specially, wearing a red and white Korean dress with embroidered patterns and a long braid, which made her look better than those little stars in Korean TV dramas. Seeing Xiameng brought the children to greet Niangniang. Xiameng said with a smile, "Fifth aunt, did you escape? I think you should quickly obey my grandmother and the others. They will not stop until they succeed in doing something, and their nagging skills are particularly terrible. If you are not afraid of them calling you every day to nag you, you should just follow their arrangements." Niangniang's face was bitter. What Xiameng said was true. The women soldiers were now targeting her, and her future life would not be easy. Well, should I find someone to pretend to be her boyfriend? There are several people in my guild who are also in this city. Why don't I ask one of them to help me? While thinking, I stretched out my hand and pulled Xiameng's braid, saying, "You actually laughed at your fifth aunt. Humph, in a few years, you will be urged to get married by your grandmother and others like your fifth aunt." Xiameng made a face. What, a few years? At least more than 10 years later. I'm only 14 years old. After that, she ran away with a group of children. Niangniang walked around the garden, found a quiet pavilion to sit down, took out her mobile phone and started to browse Weibo. She clicked on a video about monsters uploaded by one of the Weibo bloggers. Looking at the monster in it, Xiameng recognized it as a fishman at a glance. You know, she is an old player of Xianlu Legend. Her game name is Xia Chan's Hikyu, and she is a member of Haoshan League. Not only is her game level high, but her PK skills are also very good. The monsters in the game have come to the real world, so will the NPCs in the game come to the real world? Niangniang thought of her favorite NPC, the Jianghu ranger named Chu Yi. Although the appearance of NPCs is similar to players, DNA Chuyi's temperament is very different and very attractive to female players. Many female players go to Chuyi every day to take tasks to tease this NPC, and she is one of them. Even though the reward for this daily task is not high for her, it would be great if Chuyi could come to the real world. Then I must chase Chuyi, catch him, and bring him home to show the women that the boyfriend I found is 10 times or 100 times better than the one they introduced. Chuyi, who was moving with Su Qingni and Su Qingni, sneezed. Who is scolding him? Su Qingni asked with concern. Chuyi, you won't catch a cold, right? When we pass the pharmacy, buy a box of Lianhu capsules. I don't have a cold. How could we catch a cold with such a physique? Su Qingni said on the side. This is someone thinking about Chuyi. But Chuyi only knows the two of us in this world, who else would miss him? Su Qingni asked in surprise. Su Qingni smiled and said, female players in the game. Chuyi is the most popular NPC in Legend of Xianlu among female players. After Chuyi left, I don't know how the female players missed him. Maybe the customer service phone of the game company was blown up. Game company? Oh, the phone was indeed blown up. Niangniang was looking at the latest news on the internet. She was about to go to a novel website to find a novel to kill time. Suddenly, she seemed to see the sky cracked out of the corner of her eye. Niangniang raised her head hurriedly. A black road appeared in the sky above the farmhouse, and the black road was getting bigger. This scene looked like a sign that monsters were about to come out. Niangniang hurriedly raised her mobile phone and took a picture of the monster appearing. This girl is also very brave. She didn't feel scared at all. The black hole grew to a certain size and stopped expanding. Then, 6 strange creatures appeared. These monsters have the upper body of a woman but the lower body and tail of a snake. They look a bit like Nuwa, but their beauty is far from that of the great goddess Nuwa. Niangniang recognized that these 6 monsters were snake monsters that grew in the nether forest in the game world. Judging from the color of their tails, they were red, and they were the lowest level snake monsters among the snake monsters. However, even if they were the lowest level snake monsters, they were also level 25. They were 19 levels higher than fish monsters. Can modern thermal weapons destroy them? Suddenly, Niangniang thought of a question. Snake monsters are only active monsters, not passive monsters, and they will actively attack humans. Niangniang saw that the location of the black hole was just above the tea hall, and the snake monsters came down from above and landed just outside the hall. There were so many people in the hall, which was very attractive to the snake monsters. Niangniang hurried to the hall. Although she was afraid of snake monsters and she had no ability to fight against them, her parents and relatives were in the hall. At this time, she couldn't run away, she had to go find her parents. If she wanted to run away, she had to take her parents with her. And her younger brothers and sisters and the younger children, she couldn't let them be harmed by the snake monster. Niangniang was very fast, but not as fast as the monster. She was only halfway through her run when she saw the snake monsters break the glass wall of the hall and swim into the hall. She also saw a snake monster roll up Xia's mother with its tail and was about to put it into its mouth. Mom! Niangniang screamed. Her mind was blank, and she didn't even feel the changes in her body. Instead, the people in the hall were facing Niangniang's direction. Although they were terrified, they just happened to see the strange phenomenon. After Niangniang shouted, her clothes and hair shape all changed. Niangniang's casual clothes turned into pink ancient costumes, her short hair turned into long hair, combed into double buns, with hair accessories inserted on them, shining with precious stones, and looked very valuable. This was not the most magical thing. The most magical thing was that a fiery red bird with flames around it flew out from behind Niangniang. The bird had a chicken head, swallow chin, snake neck, turtle back, and fish tail. It looked like the legendary phoenix. Phoenix. Everyone was stunned. The legendary phoenix actually appeared. Oh my god, this world is so fantastic. Just as everyone was stunned, the fire phoenix had already flown to the side of the snake monster that had captured Mother Xia, and spit out a mouthful of flame. The snake monster was burned and screamed miserably. It didn't care about its prey at all, and wanted to escape by leaving Mother Xia behind. The fire phoenix would not let it escape, and spit out a few more flames, and the snake monster was burned to charcoal. Chapter 219 Game Masters IV. The snake monster, which was extremely scary in everyone's eyes, was destroyed by the fire phoenix with just a few flames. Everyone stared blankly at the fire phoenix excitedly cruising above the hall, flying back to Xiaoyuan's shoulder and landing. Everyone. Xiaoyuan. The younger children were the first to react, and all rushed to Xiaoyuan, looking at her in admiration. Fifth Aunt, you are so amazing. Fifth Aunt, is this the mythical beast Phoenix? Fifth Aunt, have you become a fairy? Fifth Aunt. Awakened by the children's chattering questions, Xiaoyuan reacted and immediately rushed to Mother Xia, who was lying on the sofa, and helped her up. Mom, are you okay? Mother Xia was thrown away by the snake monster's tail, and her footing was good, just thrown on the soft sofa, so she was not hit violently and was not injured. I'm fine. Mother Xia said. After seeing her daughter's appearance clearly, she was stunned and asked, Yuan, why did you change? What's on your shoulder? That's a phoenix. Father Xia also reacted, holding his wife's other side, looking at his daughter with concern and asking, Yuan, what happened to you? How do you have such a powerful ability? Xiaoyuan heard her parents ask this, and this time she noticed the changes in herself and saw the translucent game panel. Then, she understood what happened to her. She has the ability of the game character, and she has to take on the responsibility of protecting the earth and destroying the monsters that sneak into the earth. Her game character is a summoner who can summon the 4 sacred beasts to help her fight. Just now, she was so focused on saving her mother that she accidentally summoned the fire phoenix. Xiaoyuan sent the fire phoenix away, and with a thought, she changed her clothes back to her original casual clothes. She saw the eyes of her aunt and other women's army, and thought to herself, now, they won't drag me to a blind date, right? Half a year has passed, and people on Earth have become accustomed to monsters occasionally appearing on Earth from black holes. They are also accustomed to strong people wearing game equipment and using game skills to kill monsters and rescue everyone. These game masters are envied by everyone. Many of them are ordinary people, who were the same as the public half a year ago. Unexpectedly, the world changed so fast that they were chosen by God to become warriors to protect the earth and gain powerful power. Many people prayed to God, hoping that they would also have powerful power. Unfortunately, God did not respond to their prayers. Su Qingni also joined the team of warriors to protect the earth. This child has a kind personality. When he encounters monsters attacking humans, he will naturally not watch and will step forward to stop them, so he exposed his strength and was found. Su Qingni returned his identity to Su Qingni, so Su Qingni joined the warrior team with his original identity, went to work happily every day, and followed his colleagues to protect humans and the earth. Su Guangmo did not listen to Su Qingni's words and spend money to hire more bodyguards to protect his family. As a result, after the monster incident came out, it was difficult to hire powerful bodyguards. He finally spent a lot of money to hire 3 powerful bodyguards to protect him, Yiming and Su Qingni. After this incident, Su Guangmo felt the mystery of Su Qingni and wanted to find Su Qingni again, but he was disappointed. Su Qingni actually moved. He asked a private detective to find Su Qingni's whereabouts, but he couldn't find it at all. Su Qingni and the other 2 left the city, and Su Qingni even used hacking methods to eliminate the traces of their departure. No matter how powerful the private detective was, he couldn't find them. Su Guangmo felt a little regretful at this time. That child actually had such means, and he underestimated his excellence. I should have made a decision later and observed more. Now, well, just pretend that I have no father-son relationship with this child. Su Guangmo is a man who makes a decisive decision. Seeing that Su Qingni has left, he completely doesn't want to have anything to do with the Su family. He naturally let go of this son. No matter how excellent this son is, he is not of the same mind as himself, so he doesn't have to worry about him. Later, Su Guangmo saw Su Qingni on TV. Su Qingni fought with a monster, and the reporter filmed the battle. Watching the young man on TV killing the monster with ease, Su Guangmo once again confirmed the youth's excellence. Amazing. Su Qingni looked at the young man in the picture with envy. You don't have to envy him. Su Guangmo said lightly, he is excellent, but you are not bad either. Although you can't kill monsters, you have the ability to run a company. Everyone has their own unique advantages. You don't have to always look at other people's advantages. You should develop your own advantages. Yes. Su Qingni was taught. Su Qingni lived in this world for 80 years. In the world she left, Su Qingni was still a young man. He is different from other people who have been given the power of the game. Although those people have the abilities of game characters, their bodies are still human bodies, and they will age, get sick and die. But Su Qingni's body was shaped by God with rules. It is half human and half digital, and is separated from the birth, aging, sickness and death of ordinary people. It can be said that Su Qingni is already an immortal being. In order to prevent others from discovering Su Qingni's abnormality, Su Qingni began to teach Su Qingni how to put on makeup 50 years ago to make him look old. 30 years ago, she let Su Qingni fake his death and arranged a new identity for Su Qingni using hacking technology. Su Qingni passed the hacking technology to Su Qingni, and with Su Qingni's database stability, no matter how far the technology in this world develops, Su Qingni can use the internet to arrange a new identity for himself every few decades without being noticed by others. I'm sorry, I can't accompany you anymore. You have to live well alone, Su Qingni said to Su Qingni. Su Qingni nodded with tears in his eyes. He hasn't cried for many, many years. Su Qingni looked at this young man who cried like a child, and couldn't help but feel soft-hearted. Without friends and relatives, living alone in time, immortality is actually a torture. Su Qingni sighed and made a decision. If I ask you to leave this world with me, are you willing? Su Qingni thought Su Qingni had a way to kill him, and nodded vigorously. I am willing. I have lived enough and don't want to live anymore. Haha, silly child, how can you say you have lived enough? The universe is so big, there's more than one world like this. You haven't been to other worlds yet, how can you die? Su Qingni smiled. I'll take you to other worlds. Chapter 220 Light Group. Su Qingni brought Su Qingni and Chuyi back to the witch world. Su Qingni realized that Su Qingni was not his second personality, but a great god. After Chuyi came to this world, a golden red light flew out of his body. Su Qingni hurriedly received the light in her palm. Chuyi in front of her had changed significantly. His eyes were clear, like a newborn child, and he was very different from the previous Chuyi. Chuyi. Su Qingni called out in surprise. Qingni. Chuyi smiled and responded to Su Qingni, and his reaction was the same as a child seeing a friend. Su Qingni was even more surprised, and turned to ask Su Qingni, what happened to Chuyi? Su Qingni comforted him and said, he just lost something that didn't belong to him. Don't worry, he is Chuyi. Su Qingni still didn't understand what happened to Chuyi, but accepted Chuyi's transformation. Chuyi is pretty good now, as innocent as a child. I can be his big brother and teach him. Just thinking about it makes me feel accomplished. Su Qingni left Su Qingni and Chuyi in the territory of the witch clan. The two of them were quite comfortable here, mainly because of the various high-tech and entertainment in the Wu clan's territory that made Su Qingni and Chuyi stay and not want to leave. Seeing that the two had adapted to life in the Wu clan, Su Qingni left the Wu clan and went to the territory of the demon clan. Baizel heard Su Qingni's arrival and hurried out to greet her in person. Mr. Baizel, it's been a long time since we last met. Su Qingni greeted Baizel. Baizel quickly responded, Miss Su, what is the matter with your visit? Su Qingni didn't have the hobby of beating around the bush, and said directly, I went to other worlds this time and found something. Baizel knew that Su Qingni had ventured through other worlds to find the true spirits of the 12 ancestor witches, and he admired her very much. When he heard her mention this, he asked, Miss Su, did you gain a lot in that world and find more true spirits of the ancestor witches? Su Qingni said, I did find 2 true spirits of the ancestor witches, but the biggest gain was what I said. Baizel couldn't help but be curious. Su Qingni mentioned that thing twice. I wonder what it is. Baizel asked. Su Qingni did not answer, but took out a guanchen from her sleeve. The golden red light ball was like a tiny sun, emitting a blazing light. That is to say, here are Su Qingni and Baizel, 2 great gods with profound cultivation. If it were someone with a lower cultivation, he would only be burned by the light emitted by the guanchen. This is. Baizel was very excited. Su Qingni said, I think you need this thing very much? Yes. Baizel nodded vigorously. Very much needed. Su Qingni handed the light ball over, and Baizel quickly took it with both hands. Thank you, Miss Su. Thank you, Miss Su. Baizel thanked her repeatedly. Su Qingni waved her hand and said, You're welcome, it's just a small favor, and I also hope that he can wake up soon. Thinking of the man's demeanor, Su Qingni sighed and said to Baizel, if I meet him again in other worlds, I will definitely take it out and send it to the demon clan. Baizel was even more grateful to Su Qingni. and asked people to prepare many good things as a thank you gift for Su Qingni. Miss Su will definitely not like these things, but this is a gift from our demon clan, please accept it, Su Qingni. Baiza said sincerely. Su Qingni did not delay, rolled up her sleeves and collected them all. Although these things are of no use to me at the moment, they may be of great use to me in a certain world. Baiza thanked Su Qingni profusely and sent her out of the demon clan territory and headed for the netherworld. Su Qingni gave the 2 pieces of the ancestor witch's true spirit fragments to Empress Pingxin and told her about the light ball. Empress Pingxin sighed, there are 50 great ways, 49 heavenly evolutions, and 1 escaped. The brothers have such a glimmer of hope, and it is indeed the same for the demon clan. Su Qingni said, maybe, we can see more old friends in the future. I hope so. Empress Pingxin patted Su Qingni's shoulder, your burden will be heavier in the future. You have worked hard. Su Qingni smiled, it's not hard. It's interesting to travel through the world and become another person. Besides, experiencing the world can also improve your mind and improve your state of mind. It's very good. Empress Pingxin felt pity in her heart. This child only reported good news and not bad news. You must know that the most dangerous time of traveling through the world is the time of walking in time and space to find the world. The chaotic time and space are full of dangers. You will encounter a danger if you take a step. If you are not careful, you will die. And Su Qingni never said how much danger she had experienced. This is a magic weapon I recently refined, the Xianluo umbrella, which has a certain protective power in the chaos. Empress Pingxin took out her newly refined magic weapon and handed it to Su Qingni. Su Qingni accepted it and packed it up. After chatting with Lady Pingxin for a while, she left. After returning to her own palace, Su Qingni practiced in seclusion for a period of time to recover her injuries and magic power. This time when she traveled through time and space, she encountered time and space turbulence and was accidentally injured. It was impossible to heal in the chaos. After returning to her own world, Su Qingni began to heal her injuries. Fortunately, the injury was not serious. After practicing for a period of time, she recovered from the injury. After visiting the prehistoric world, the Earth, and the world she had traveled through before, Su Qingni updated the high-tech knowledge in her mind and prepared to travel through again. I am the dividing line after traveling through time. The original owner this time was a doctor with hidden diseases. Because he had 3 consecutive operations and was overworked, the disease broke out all of a sudden, and the original owner died just like that. Su Qingni gave the original owner some merits, allowing him to reincarnate into a wealthy family and then possess this body. This world can practice internal skills, and Su Qingni immediately practiced, nourishing this body with internal skills, and gradually eliminating the hidden diseases in the body. Oh no, Dr. Su, the patient in bed 219 committed suicide. The nurse called Su Qingni urgently on her cell phone. Su Qingni stood up, left the office, and strode to the ward. The ward where bed 219 was located was a VIP ward. There was only one patient in it, a rich second generation whose family was quite wealthy. If someone died in the hospital, I'm afraid their family would make a fuss, and both the hospital and herself, the attending physician, would be in trouble. When Su Qingni arrived at the ward, the rich second generation had already been given first aid by the nurse. This person committed suicide by cutting his wrists and put his wrists under the quilt. None of his family members noticed it. It was only when the nurse came to take the temperature that she discovered that something was wrong with the patient and discovered that he had committed suicide by cutting his wrists. The nurse had bandaged the patient's wound. Su Qingni checked the bandaging and gave the nurse a thumbs up. Chapter 221 Passerby. The patient has lost too much blood. Go to the blood bank and give him a blood transfusion. Su Qingni instructed the nurse after examining the rich second generation. Her eyes swept over the rich second generation's face, neck and even chest, which were wrapped like a mummy, and she understood why the rich second generation chose to die. How could a handsome guy with a good appearance be disfigured like this? All the information about this rich second generation emerged in Su Qingni's mind. The rich second generation is called Xiao Zui, and his family is very rich. It is wrong to say that he is a rich second generation. He is not a rich second generation, but a rich third generation. The Xiao family made a fortune from Xiao Zui's grandfather. Over the past few decades, the family business has become more and more prosperous and has become the richest man in city. Xiao Zui himself is quite excellent, with good academic performance and ability, but his temperament is more jumpy. His heart is still undecided, he likes to play, and he is unwilling to join Xiao's enterprise early. Xiao Zuge is handsome, rich and capable. There are many women who like him, and there are even more who throw themselves into his arms, which leads to Xiao Zuge changing girlfriends very quickly. He doesn't have a woman he particularly likes, so naturally he doesn't have a fixed girlfriend. After dating for a while, he will take the initiative to break up with people. It's better to part ways in peace. Although those women who were fooled by him have resentment, they don't have much resentment. If you walk too much on the night road, you will eventually meet a ghost. Xiao Zuge always dumps women, and finally he was ruthlessly dumped by a woman once. This was a novel experience, but Xiao Zuge became very interested in the woman, fell in love with her, and began to pursue her again. This woman is called Jie Yishuang, a female star who is loved by the audience for her pure and beautiful appearance and temperament. When Jie Yishuang was dating Xiao Zuge, she was just a 3rd or 4th tier star, but after breaking up, Xiao Zuge pursued Jie Yishuang and used his resources to promote Jie Yishuang to the status of a 2nd tier star. People in the circle thought that Jie Yishuang should accept Xiao Zuge's pursuit, but she was still not moved by Xiao Zuge and threw herself into the arms of another man. The man has a close relationship with Xiao Zuge, and is Xiao Zuge's uncle Xiao Zan. Xiao Zan is the illegitimate son of Old Man Xiao, and was born when Old Man Xiao was in his 50s. Because he was an old man Xiao liked this little son very much. After he was born, he took him back to the Xiao family, recorded him in the Xiao family tree, and grew up in the Xiao family. Also because Xiao Zan was Old Man Xiao's old man, his age was not much different from his nephew Xiao Zuge, only 6 years apart. Xiao Zan is also a very capable person. However, although Old Man Xiao dotes on him, because of his birth, Old Man Xiao did not list him as the heir of the Xiao family. He only took out his own private money to subsidize this son and help this son start a business by himself. In contrast, Xiao Zan, who has his own career, is more popular with girls than Xiao Zuge, the 2nd generation ancestor who has not yet entered the company. Therefore, Jie Yishuang chose Xiao Zan as her boyfriend, and others said that she had a good vision. Seeing that the woman he liked became his uncle's girlfriend, Xiao Zuge did not give up and continued to hang around her, hoping that one day Jie Yishuang would change her mind. However, the day when Jie Yishuang changed her mind did not come, but the bad luck came. On this day, Xiao Zuge went to the crew to visit Jie Yishuang, and happened to encounter black fans attacking Jie Yishuang and throwing a bottle at Jie Yishuang. Xiao Zuge wanted to be a hero to save the beauty and move Jie Yishuang, so he rushed forward to stand in front of Jie Yishuang. But he didn't expect that the bottle was not an empty bottle, but sulfuric acid, and the bottle cap was opened. The purpose of the black fan was to disfigure Jie Yishuang, but Xiao Zuge helped Jie Yishuang to block the disaster. Xiao Zuge suffered a large area of burns, his entire face was ruined, his neck and chest were also burned by the eyes, and his throat was also affected, and the sound he made in the future would be very unpleasant. This degree of disfigurement cannot be restored even if he goes to Korea for plastic surgery. The handsome guy has become a ghost or not, no wonder the guy couldn't stand it and wanted to commit suicide. Find him a psychiatrist. Su Qingni said to Xiao Zuge's parents, if he is not relieved, he may commit suicide. Xiao's father nodded and immediately asked his assistant to help find a psychiatrist. Xiao's mother cried beside the bed, cursing Jie Yishuang while crying, and even cursing Jie Yishuang's boyfriend Xiao Zan. When Xiao's father heard Xiao Zan's name, his face became darker, and a trace of hatred flashed in his eyes. Su Qingni left the ward and returned to the office. There was more than an hour before get-off work was over, and Su Qingni hoped that there would be no more accidents next. Fortunately, there were no more patients who needed treatment at the end of the working time, and Su Qingni left work on time. She felt that she was not suitable for working in the hospital, and she would submit a resignation report when she went to work tomorrow. Drive back home. It's called home, but it's just the place where the original owner settled. With the original owner's temper, there was no trace of human habitation in the place where she lived. The original owner had a serious misophobia. This is something that the original owner's parents and older brothers and sisters can't stand. Therefore, the original owner moved out of the house after graduating from high school and lived outside alone. Although her parents were worried, they were also relieved. It was really unbearable for anyone to have someone nagging in their ears every day about how many bacteria there were around. The small villa where Su Qingni lives now was bought by the original owner's parents for the original owner in order to compensate the original owner. The original owner felt much more comfortable living alone. Su Qingni walked around the whole house and made a small change to the furnishings in the house. Immediately, the villa became more popular. After changing the bedding on the bed, Su Qingni fell on the big bed and fell asleep. It took a lot of energy to come to this world, and she encountered troubles. Although she was not injured, her mind was exhausted. Her soul outside the world was already asleep, and the soul that entered this world also needed sleep to recover. The next day, when Su Qingni woke up, it was already noon, and she must be late for work. When she came to the hospital, Su Qingni was criticized by the director, and she handed in her resignation application. "You're going to resign just because I criticize you." The director was shocked. "Xiao Su, when did your psychological endurance become so poor?" "No, I wanted to resign a long time ago," Su Qingni said. The director was silent for a moment and asked, "Have you found a new job?" "No," Su Qingni said, "I just feel too tired and want to take a break for a while. I can grant you a month's vacation." The director said. He really didn't want to let Su Qingni leave. Su Qingni's medical skills were very strong. It was difficult to find young doctors with her solid professional knowledge and strong skills. 1 month is not enough. "Director, let me be honest with you, there is something wrong with my body and I need to adjust it." Chapter 222 Passerby Part 2. Su Qingni finally succeeded in resigning, but because of the issue of work handover, she will stay in the hospital for another month. She will officially resign after 1 month. When she returned home that night, Su Qingni received a call from Su's mother. "Qingni, what's wrong with your body? Is it serious?" Because of the original owner's mysophobia, she and her parents were not close, but Su's parents were still very concerned about their daughter. Su's mother's question was full of concern. "It's okay." Su Qingni didn't want Su's parents and siblings to worry about her. Although this body has hidden dangers, she can adjust it herself. "I lied to the director, otherwise the director would not let me resign." "Lie? Are you really okay?" "No. If you don't believe me, I can show you my physical examination report," Su Qingni said. It's easy for her to make a fake physical examination report. Su's mother breathed a sigh of relief on the other end of the phone, and Su Qingni keenly heard several breaths of relief over there. "I'm glad you're okay," Su's mother said happily, and then she was puzzled. "Why did you quit your job when you were fine?" Su Qingni said, "Being a doctor is too tiring. I performed 3 operations in a row the day before yesterday, and I was so tired that I almost fainted. I don't want to be so tired anymore, so I want to quit." Su's mother immediately agreed and said, "It's good to quit, but you can't be so tired in the future. You go home for a while and have a good rest. I will cook soup for you every day to nourish your body." "No need." Su Qingni refused. "You also know my habits. You can't stand living at home, and neither can you. I'd rather live here in the villa." Thinking of her daughter's severe mysophobia, Su's mother twitched her mouth, and quickly gave up the idea of letting her daughter go home. She could only remind Su Qingni a lot of matters about taking care of her body on the phone, and said that she would cook soup for Su Qingni every day. "Just ask the driver to bring it over," Su Qingni said, "and sometimes I may not be at home. I want to travel for a while." "Travel?" Su's mother exclaimed. "Aren't you afraid that the hotel outside is not clean?" Su Qingni. The Su family is rich, and every year Su's father and mother will take the children out for a trip, but the original owner has refused since she was a child, because she thinks it is too dirty outside and she can't stand it, so she is determined not to go out. Su Qingni, "I will bring gloves, masks and disinfectant." Su's mother. Su's mother, "Disinfectant is not allowed on the plane, right?" Su Qingni, "I will drive myself and travel by car." Su's mother, "Oh, then okay." Su's mother was still a little dazed after hanging up the phone. She felt that her little daughter seemed to have changed a lot. Because she was leaving her job, Su Qingni no longer accepted new patients and only followed up on the few patients who had been operated on before. Others were very easy to talk to and cooperated with the treatment of doctors and nurses. The few people who were treated earlier have been discharged from the hospital. Only Xiao Zu's condition was very bad. He looked lifeless, and he was treated passively every day, but the recovery effect was very slow. It was only because Xiao's father hired a psychologist to accompany Xiao Zu every day to help him clear his mind that such an effect was achieved. Otherwise, Xiao Zuge would commit suicide every day. Although he has given up the idea of suicide, he looks like he has no desire to live and is waiting to die, which makes Xiao's father and mother very sad, but there is nothing they can do. Even the most capable psychologists cannot cheer Xiao Zuge up again. How pitiful. A handsome guy turned into an ugly monster. No wonder he can't understand it. If it were me, I would commit suicide too. In today's society, appearance is everything. If your face is ruined, your life is half ruined. Young Master Xiao used to be so handsome, but now, Alice. It's all because of Jie Shuang. Young Master Xiao disfigured himself for her, but she didn't show any sign of gratitude. What kind of sign do you want? Will you pledge your love to him? That's not necessary, right? Wouldn't Jie Shuang's lifelong happiness be ruined? Are you a saint? Why don't you think that young Master Xiao's lifelong happiness has been ruined? Yes. I think Jie Shuang should be responsible for young Master Xiao. But Jie Shuang has a boyfriend. How could she abandon her boyfriend and marry young Master Xiao? Besides, young Master Xiao helped Jie Shuang block the sulfuric acid voluntarily, and Jie Shuang didn't ask young Master Xiao to help her block it. Young Master Xiao is Jie Shuang's ex-boyfriend. Jie Shuang kicked young Master Xiao and went to find young Master Xiao's uncle. Is there something fishy here? Jie Shuang is not a simple woman. There are no simple people in the entertainment industry. The nurses' discussions reached Su Qingni's ears. Their opinions were divided into two camps. One camp thought that Jie Shuang should be responsible for Xiao Daxiao, and the other camp thought that Xiao Daxiao was willing and Jie Shuang should not give up the rest of his life for this. These two opinions have been arguing on the internet. Jie Shuang's reputation was greatly affected by this. Every time he appeared in front of the palace, he had a frowning look and was about to cry, which made people feel pity and won the connection of many people who eat melons. The opinions on the internet gradually leaned towards Jie Shuang's side. After all, although the report said that Xiao Zuge was disfigured, there were no photos, and the people who eat melons had no idea how serious Xiao Zuge's disfigurement was. So, the heart naturally leaned towards what the eyes saw. Nowadays, the internet has begun to brush Xiao Zuge's favor and the toad wants to eat swan meat. Su Qingni has been in the entertainment industry, and she knows at a glance that there are water troops behind the scenes to guide, but ordinary people just don't understand. It should be Xiao Zuge's uncle who took action. Xiao's father has been focusing on his son these days and has no time to pay attention to the comments on the internet. If he saw it, I wonder if he would confront Xiao Chen directly. Su Qingni heard a noise coming from the corridor, frowned, and ignored it. The noise lasted for more than 10 minutes and then disappeared, and the inpatient apartment returned to silence. When it was almost time to get off work and inspect the ward, Su Qingni learned from the little nurse that Jie Shuang came to visit Xiao Zuge. She held Xiao Zuge's hand and cried for a long time, saying thank you, but she didn't say how to thank him specifically, and she didn't even say to pay the medical expenses. When leaving, the reporters who followed Jie Shuang took a few photos in front of the ward door. Did you take pictures after entering the ward? Su Qingni asked. The little nurse shook her head. Su Qingni smiled. Tomorrow's headline will be very interesting. Little nurse. The second question, the headline is indeed the news that Jie Shuang went to the hospital to visit Xiao Zuge. In the accompanying picture, Jie Shuang stood at the door of the ward and cried, which was really pitiful, making the onlookers more inclined to Jie Shuang. Jie Shuang successfully made his image better than before the accident. Chapter 223 Passerby III. On the last day before Su Qingni's resignation, she went to visit Xiao Zuge. Xiao Zuge had not been discharged from the hospital yet. Xiao's parents were worried about his condition and still let him stay in the hospital. They hired the best plastic surgeon from South Korea at a high salary to restore their son's appearance, but the effect was not good. Faced with such serious burns, no matter how good the plastic surgeon was, there was nothing he could do. Xiao Zuge was in a very low mood. If it weren't for the psychologist who was always by his side, Xiao Zuge would have attempted suicide several times. Now, although he did not commit suicide, he has become a little autistic. In addition to his psychologist, he also ignores his parents. Before leaving, Su Qingni whispered something in Xiao Zuge's ear, but Xiao Zuge did not respond. Su Qingni left the ward, returned to her office, and stayed there until the end of the day. After today, she is no longer a doctor in this hospital. The farewell party had already been held, and Su Qingni only said hello to her colleagues and left the hospital with ease. In the following days, Su Qingni didn't have to go to work every day. She slept until she woke up naturally in the morning. Her life was as comfortable as it could be. She sold the original owner's car and replaced it with the Wrangler. She also bought a lot of camping equipment on the internet to prepare for the subsequent self-driving tour. In order to find the extremely yin place, she had to travel all over the country this time, and she had to prepare a lot of things. Fortunately, the original owner was not a person who was short of money, and had a lot of savings. Su Qingni didn't have to worry about money like several of her predecessors in the modern world. She spent money like water, only bought the best, and didn't care about the price. When her parents and brothers and sisters knew her actions, they knew that she was really going out for a self-driving tour. They were afraid that she didn't have enough money, so they transferred money to sponsor her so that she could have fun and have a little more fun. Everything was ready, but Su Qingni didn't go out immediately. She was waiting for someone. But she wouldn't wait forever. She only gave that person a month. If the 1-month deadline was up and that person didn't come to her, she would ignore that person and go out to travel. If a person gave up hope and didn't seize the opportunity, she would no longer sympathize with that person. 1 month was about to end, and Su Qingni received a call from that person. Su Qingni asked the person, "Have you told anyone else about this?" The person replied, "No, I just said I wanted to go out and relax." Su Qingni, "Do your parents agree to let you go out by yourself?" The person, "I told them that I would not commit suicide. If they don't let me go out, I will commit suicide." Su Qingni, "It's really troublesome." The person, "I won't cause you any trouble. I haven't leaked your affairs at all." Su Qingni, "Now, take your gifts and go out. Don't turn off your phone and listen to my next instructions." Su Qingni turned on her computer and the hacking technology that had not been used for a long time was activated, and the figure of Xiao Zhuge appeared on the screen. The person who called Su Qingni was Xiao Zhuge. Before Su Qingni left her job, she told Xiao Zhuge that she had a way to help Xiao Zhuge restore his appearance. She did have some sympathy for Xiao Zhuge, but she was more disgusted with the methods of some people. Xiao Zhuge didn't believe her words, but his face had been sentenced to death by the hospital and doctors, which made him despair. He remembered Su Qingni's words. No matter whether Su Qingni had the ability to help him or was playing tricks on him, this was his only hope and he wanted to catch it. Even if it was a dead horse, why not try it? There is a taxi in front, you take it, the driver will take you to the central square. Seeing Xiao Zhuge get in the car, and seeing a low-key car following behind the taxi, Su Qingni snorted lightly. How could Xiao's parents feel at ease letting their son go out alone? They would definitely send someone to protect him secretly. She now wanted Xiao Zhuge to get rid of these protectors. She would help Xiao Zhuge, but she didn't want others to know her ability. As for whether Xiao Zhuge would tell others after his face got better, Su Qingni had a way to prevent him from telling anyone. After Xiao Zhuge arrived at the central square, Su Qingni directed him to enter the largest shopping mall in City A with the largest flow of people and the largest number of people. He then used the flow of people and the terrain to get rid of the people following him. Then he directed him to change taxis several times, avoid surveillance, and go to a place in the suburbs. "Wait there, I'll pick you up." Xiao Zhuge responded excitedly. This time was too exciting, just like a spy drama. It's not that he didn't think about whether Su Qingni's request to get rid of the people following him would be bad for him, but he didn't want to live anymore because he looked like a ghost now. If Su Qingni was lying to him, not helping him with his face treatment, but kidnapping him to his detriment, he would choose to commit suicide and let Su Qingni get nothing. When Su Qingni drove to the suburbs, she saw Xiao Zhuge's face changing from time to time, and she didn't know what he was thinking. She didn't bother to care about his thoughts, opened the door of the passenger seat, and said to Xiao Zhuge, "Come in." Xiao Zhuge put the luggage in the back seat and sat in the passenger seat. Su Qingni started the Wrangler and drove in one direction. "Aren't you going back to the city?" Xiao Zhuge saw that this direction was not the direction to return to City A. "No, I have a small villa over in Dongshan, it's quiet there," Su Qingni said. Xiao Zhuge was silent for a moment, and then said, "When did Dr. Su learn plastic surgery?" Su Qingni, "I learned it by myself. I'm a surgeon. If I know one thing, I know 100 things. Is that not okay?" "Okay." Xiao Zhuge didn't say anything after that, and the car was extremely quiet. When they arrived at Su Qingni's small villa, she took Xiaozuge into the villa and pointed to the guest room. You take a rest first, and I will help you start the treatment tomorrow. In your villa? Not going to the hospital. Xiaozuge was surprised. Of course, I don't want to expose myself. But if we don't go to the hospital, how are you going to perform surgery on me? Su Qingni smiled slightly. You will know tomorrow. Xiaozuge. He felt that he had made a wrong choice. Is it too late to leave now? Xiaozuge stayed anyway. After all, this was his last chance. After a sleepless night, Xiaozuge got up the next day with 2 big dark circles under his eyes. Su Qingni glanced at him and pushed a plate of sandwiches to Xiaozuge. Have breakfast. Xiaozuge. I can't eat. Su Qingni. You have to eat even if you can't. After I perform surgery on you, you can only eat liquid food, and you can't even eat sandwiches. Xiaozuge. In the end, Xiaozuge ate all the sandwiches and was forced to drink a glass of milk. This was the most food he had eaten in such a long time. Since he was injured, he had no appetite. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 224 Passerby 4. After breakfast and a short rest, Su Qingni took Xiaozuge to the room she had specially cleaned up. There was nothing in the room except a single bed and a cabinet for storing things. On the cabinet was a tray covered with white gauze, and Xiaozuge could not see what was under the gauze. Su Qingni asked Xiaozuge to lie on the bed, and she changed her clothes and put on special gloves for surgery. She pulled the gauze aside to reveal what was underneath. Xiaozuge turned his eyes and saw 3 silver scalpels, a box of silver needles used in traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture, and several palm-sized porcelain bottles on the tray, but there were no tools such as hemostatic forceps used in general surgery. Why do you have so few tools for surgery? Xiaozuge asked, and his already limited confidence collapsed a little. These are enough. Su Qingni said, the surgery I perform is different from that of ordinary plastic surgeons. Xiaozuge was very uneasy, and hope was completely gone. He asked in a trembling voice, can the silver needles of traditional Chinese medicine be used for surgical operations? Why not? Su Qingni looked at Xiaozuge with a surprised look. Silver needles can stop bleeding. And silver needles can relieve patients' pain better than anesthetics. Okay, you think you make sense. Then, what's in these porcelain bottles? It looks like a 3-no product. Su Qingni said, this is the medicine I made myself. In order to treat your face, I bought a lot of medicinal materials a few days ago to make these medicines. It really is a 3-no product. Xiaozuge felt that he was really a fool, and actually believed what Su Qingni said. This person's behavior looks like a madman. I won't treat him anymore. Xiaozuge was about to get up. He didn't want to die on this single bed that was called an operating table because of a madman. If Xiao Zhan and his enemies knew about it, they would definitely laugh. Well, you're here, and you still want to run away. Su Qingni said in a villainous boss, mad scientist tone, you are my first experimental subject, how can I let you run away? Damn. Sure enough, this person is a madman, and he actually offered himself to me. He didn't commit suicide, but he was killed by his own stupidity. Xiaozuge stood up and jumped off the single bed and was about to run away. Su Qingni stretched out her finger and pointed, and Xiaozuge couldn't move. You, what did you do to me? Xiaozuge asked in horror. Stupid. Don't you know acupoints? You're a rabbit countryman. Su Qingni snorted lightly, stretched out her hand and pushed Xiaozuge back to the single bed. Xiaozuge can't move his whole body except for speaking and blinking. Feeling this state, Xiaozuge's heart strangely regained a little confidence. If he can press acupoints, then Dr. Su might really be able to cure himself with his scalpels, silver needles and homemade medicines on the table. Xiaozuge blinked his eyes and looked at Su Qingni expectantly. He saw that Su Qingni had picked up a silver needle. After a flash of silver light, he lost consciousness. Su Qingni knocked Xiaozuge unconscious and moved quickly on his face. After an unknown amount of time, Xiaozuge woke up. He felt itchy on his face and wanted to reach out to scratch it, but a hand stopped him. Su Qingni's voice rang in his ear, don't scratch. Your face itches because the flesh there is growing. If you scratch it, it will affect the recovery of the injury. Xiao Zhu quickly put down his hand. He wanted to speak, but found that he couldn't make a sound. Su Qingni's voice rang again. Don't talk. I also did surgery on your vocal cords, and now you can't make a sound. When you recover, you can speak. Xiao Zhu raised his right hand, with his thumb facing up and the other four fingers clenched into a fist, and then bent his thumb downward twice. Su Qingni recognized this gesture. It means thank you. You're welcome. Su Qingni said, if you want to thank me, wait until you're fully recovered. Xiao Zhu felt something on his lips, cool and round, and seemed to be the size of a thumb. Take the medicine. Xiao Zhu swallowed the pill obediently. Su Qingni fed Xiao Zhu some liquid food with a straw, and then left the room with a word rest. Xiao Zhu closed his eyes, but fell into coma again after a while. Half a month later, Su Qingni helped Xiao Zhu remove the gauze that covered his entire head and neck. Xiao Zhu was extremely uneasy. He was worried that Su Qingni's treatment would not be successful, and that he would still see a face that was neither human nor ghost. Xiao Zhu felt a cool breeze blowing on his face, and the gauze had been removed. But he still closed his eyes and did not dare to open them. Open your eyes. Su Qingni's voice was commanding, and Xiao Zhu was so scared that he opened his eyes immediately. Then he saw himself in the mirror. With bright eyes, a bright nose and a handsome face, except for a faint mark on it, this face is exactly the same as before the disfigurement. This is me, this is me. Xiao Zhu shouted excitedly. When the voice came out of his mouth, he found that his voice had also recovered, and it was no longer the rough and unpleasant tone before. Su Qingni stuffed the mirror into Xiao Zhu's hand and left the room, leaving Xiao Zhu alone in the room to vent his excitement. After more than an hour, Xiao Zhu walked out of the room. He walked to Su Qingni's side and bowed deeply. Dr. Su, thank you so much. You are my second parent. You're welcome. Su Qingni said, I'm just using you for experiments. Dr. Su has superb skills, and even experiments can have the same effect as regular treatment. Xiao Zhu didn't care about the so-called experiments in Su Qingni's mouth. As long as the results were good, he would be very satisfied. Dr. Su, this is a small gift from me, please accept it. Xiao Zhu took out his mobile phone and fiddled with it for a while. Su Qingni's mobile phone beeped, and a text message showed that 8 million yuan had been deposited into her WeChat account. Su Qingni expressed her satisfaction and said to Xiao Zhu, we have settled the payment, you pack up your things and leave later. Remember, don't tell anyone else about my treatment for you. Xiao Zhu nodded vigorously, indicating that he would definitely not tell anyone. Su Qingni raised the corners of her lips slightly, but Xiao Zhu couldn't say anything even if he wanted to. When leaving, Xiao Zhu asked Su Qingni, Dr. Su, your ability to turn decay into magic does not belong to the category of Western surgery, right? Is it a traditional skill of our rabbit country? Su Qingni smiled, yes. This skill has a very cool origin. Do you know what it is? What is it? Xiao Zhu asked hurriedly. The Treasure Mirror of Flower Love. Chapter 225 Passerby. The Mirror of Pity for Flowers? Xiao Zhu was dumbfounded. Was it the Mirror of Pity for Flowers that he knew? Dr. Su is such a joker. No, I'm not kidding. I used the disguise and medical skills in the Mirror of Pity for Flowers to change your face. Of course, the face I replaced was your previous one. Su Qingni had a serious face, without any trace of joking. Xiao Zhu left the villa area in a daze and took a taxi home. He felt that his worldview was crumbling. The people who protected him lost Xiao Zhu, and Xiao's father and mother were very worried. They even ignored their work. Not only did they send people out to look for Xiao Zhu, they also called friends that Xiao Zhu knew to inquire about their son's whereabouts. Unfortunately, there was no news about Xiao Zhu, and the two were almost collapsed with worry. Fortunately, they received a letter from their son, saying that he was fine and had an adventure. After a while, their son would come home and ask them not to worry. The two of them breathed a sigh of relief, as long as their son was fine. However, although Xiao Zhu told them not to worry, how could they really feel relieved? As long as they didn't see their son come home, they would not be relieved. On this day, Xiao's mother missed her son at home. She was holding a photo of her son before he was disfigured and wiping her tears. Suddenly, she heard the nanny downstairs shouting in surprise, "The eldest young master is back. Madam, the eldest young master is back." Xiao's mother stood up suddenly, opened the door and ran to the stairs. She lay on the stairs and looked down. Sure enough, her son was standing in the middle of the living room. He looked up at the sound of her running. Zuge. Xiao's mother widened her eyes and exclaimed. The young man downstairs had handsome features, exactly the same as her son before he was disfigured. Mom. The young man downstairs called her with a smile. Zuge? Is it really you? Xiao's mother rushed down from the second floor suddenly. Xiao Zuge hurried to meet her and let her grab his arm, looking left and right, up and down, and even reached out to touch his face. Xiao's mother felt the scar on Xiao Zuge's face and confirmed that her son had indeed been disfigured, but now he has been cured. Son, the adventure you mentioned is your face? Xiao's mother asked. Xiao Zuge nodded. Mom, when I went out, I met a hidden master. She used the traditional Chinese medicine of Rabbit Country to help me heal my face. Great. Great. Xiao's mother was very happy to hear this, and tears flowed down, but this time it was because of happiness. Xiao Zuge hugged his mother and let his mother's tears flow onto his clothes. At this moment, he felt that he was really a piece of shit in the past. He actually made his parents so worried and sad for him, which was really unfilial. Mom, don't worry, I will never do stupid things again. Xiao Zuge promised. It's not worth it for a woman like that. Okay, okay. Xiao's mother was so happy that she shed tears again. Xiao Zuge was speechless. How did his mother become Lin Daiyu? Xiao's mother cried for a while, wiped her tears and said, Your father is at a company. I called him and asked him to come back. Your father has been worried about you these days. Yes. Xiao Zuge's nose was a little blocked. After receiving Xiao's mother's call, Xiao's father returned home in less than half an hour. Seeing his son's restored appearance, this business tycoon who never showed his emotions also shed tears. Good, great. Xiao's father patted Xiao Zuge on the shoulder and said repeatedly. Xiao Zuge just nodded. After a long time, the whole family moved upstairs and sat down in the study on the second floor. Xiao Zuge told his parents about his fabricated experience. The Mirror of Flower Love? Isn't this a secret book in martial arts novels? Is that master kidding you? Xiao's father and mother's three views were also shaky. They heard that the master only used a small scalpel and silver needles and a few bottles of self-prepared medicine to heal their son's face. The two really couldn't believe it. But their son's face was the best evidence, and they couldn't help but believe it. But, do disguise and martial arts really exist in the world? Xiao Zuge smiled bitterly. I don't know whether the master is playing a trick on me or it's true. But no matter whether it's true or false, I am the one who benefits anyway. Why should I pursue the truth? Xiao's father nodded. Yes, you are right. By the way, the master cured you. Did you reward the master? Do you want me and your mother to prepare another thank you gift for the master? No need. Xiao Zuge said, the master doesn't like to be disturbed. After driving me away, the master may have left her temporary residence. Moreover, when I left, I transferred 8 million to the master. The master said that the money and the goods were paid, and he had nothing to do with me in the future. The master also uses WeChat. Xiao's mother was surprised. Xiao Zuge was sweating. Mom, in this era, who doesn't use a mobile phone? Who uses a mobile phone and doesn't use WeChat? The master is also a person. Oh. Xiao's mother nodded. Father Xiao said, since the master doesn't want to be disturbed, don't mention it again in the future. If someone asks about your face, just say that you went abroad for treatment. Xiao Zuge nodded and said, I won't appear in front of people for a while. I will appear again in half a year or a year. Father Xiao said, then you can go abroad to relax. Xiao Zuge shook his head. No, I won't leave the country. I have things to deal with. Mother Xiao frowned. You won't go to find that woman again. Father Xiao also frowned when he heard it. Xiao Zuge hurriedly said, Dad, Mom, after the last incident, I have seen Jie Yishuang's true face clearly. How could I go to find her again? I just want to investigate one thing clearly. What is it? Father Xiao asked. Xiao Zuge said, Dad, Jie Yishuang is just a small star. Even if there are black fans, it is impossible for them to hate her to the extent of disfiguring her. No, the amount of sulfuric acid in that bottle is more than just disfiguring. If it weren't for Su's full treatment at that time, I'm afraid I would have died. Think about it, how can black fans hate someone so much that they want to kill someone? It's not like they have a grudge against the star to kill their father. Xiao's father thought deeply. Hearing what you said, this matter is indeed strange. He suddenly raised his head and looked at Xiao Zhuge. This so-called Black Fan was originally targeting you. Someone wants to deal with you. Xiao Zhuge took a deep breath and nodded. This matter was not something he thought of himself, but Su Qingni reminded him. But he is not a fool but very smart. With Su Qingni's reminder, many things that he didn't understand before were suddenly cleared up and he could see clearly. Dad, I suspect it's my uncle. Xiao Zhuge said, my uncle shouldn't be satisfied with the little things Grandpa gave him. What he wants is all the property of the Xiao family. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.